Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us. It's Decision Day 2011, and we're here to give you the full results, and I guarantee you, folks, you'll get them first right here on ssptv.com. Now, we have with us tonight our political analyst, Dave Solshar, and Mr. Mike DeCosmo. Folks, we have some great stuff for you. I want to thank you for joining us today, and I also want to thank the Greater Hazleton area. The recent Notarized survey shows that 83% of you prefer Local News 13 over the other local competition. I humbly say thank you very much. Now, Professor DeCosmo, give me a reflection about today.
Sam, my reflection, and again, honestly, I taught today. I was up East Stroudsburg most of the day. I got back in town about 6 o'clock. I spent some time over the Hazel Township Municipal Building. It's going to be a very low turnout. I was voter number 320 out of about 1,300 registered voters. So we're probably looking in an area where we do have a supervisor race going on over there. So I'm guessing, Sam, if we get 30% in Hazel Township with this kind of weather, you know, I really expected a bigger turnout. I understand it's an off-year election. I know traditionally it's been around 30%, but I thought the weather would bring out about 40% today. So for whatever reason, Sam, the county council race, the local races just didn't generate a whole lot of advertising, a whole lot of enthusiasm. I mean, it just wasn't out there for the last month or two.
You know, the surprising thing, though, Mike, is when you listen to the many problems that we have in the county and we have in the local municipalities, we have school boards, everyone's complaining about different things. You would hope that this is the chance for you to make your choice now. This is your voice. Vote, okay? I mean, and then this way, don't complain if you don't vote. You know, Doctor, what's your reflection?
Well, again, I'll agree with Mike as far as the low voter turnout, but I'll also suggest that especially in Lower Luzerne County, this was the election that wasn't. There was almost no great amount of activity, save for what you, in your debates, thankfully, and the standard speaker were able to produce as far as debates. And some of the discussion on your news programs and other programs here on the network. But unfortunately, you know, again, and we talk many a times about this. You want your water fixed, and to turn it on, it's there. You want your streets plowed. You want your potholes filled. These are the people that do it. For God's sake, please think about what you're doing and vote. But unfortunately, I think this is the time when you're going to see just the bases having gotten out and voted.
Well, you know, you're right, because I think this year with the standard speaker, okay, our media partner, and what we did, we tried to provide as much information as possible to have people go out and vote and make a choice. Why do you think this is, though? Why do you think people are just, are they giving up, or don't they care? Or what are your thoughts?
I think it's just a basic apathy that people have, as long as, and I'm surprised because there are a number of problems. There's the budgetary problems. But people don't feel that until their taxes go up. They hear about budgetary problems within the city, but they see the police on the street. Fire protection is still there. They watch potholes getting filled with the circles of orange around them. They don't feel that right now there's an imminent crisis, even though there is. And I would argue that the same thing is true when you take a look at some of the things on a larger scale. The judges have gone to jail. Things are supposed to have gotten improved, and now we're going to be voting on new people. So it must be working. And I think that apathy leads to what you see.
Well, we're going to tell you this, folks. We have a couple things we'd like to discuss, particularly in the city of Hazleton. Nikki Kreis put together this package, and the question was, what do voters think the #1 concern in Hazleton is? Crime or budget? Let's look at this package.
We're always hearing people say they're tired of this, fed up with that, and that is why Election Day is so important. It's a way for you to exercise your right to vote. And here in the city of Hazleton, 2 big races are taking place. So we asked our viewers, what is the biggest issue the city is facing this election?
I think it's crime and drugs. That's my opinion.
Why do you think that?
Why? Well, just look at everything that's going on. You know, everything. We never had this. Not as bad as now.
With the new mayor getting elected here in Hazleton, what is the bigger issue for you, crime or debt?
It's kind of both. It'd have to be 50-50.
Would it be safe to say that they affect one another?
Yeah.
Crime and drugs. I don't know which is worse, to be perfectly honest with you. It's scary. Now, You know I live on Alter Street, and it's unbelievable, the stuff that goes on. I mean, right in front of your face. And they just don't care. It's scary. It's scary.
What do you think are some of the big issues?
Well, with the mayor and the potholes in the streets and everything else, the crime and the violence.
We asked the same question on our News 13 SSP TV Facebook page, and the answers were very similar. Crime, 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 illegal immigration, crime, jobs, and more police to fight all the crime. Now, it's clear the people of Hazleton are fed up with the large amount of crime in the city. All three of the mayoral candidates promised to take a stand and fight back against crime if elected. We'll just have to see who gets the most votes. In the newsroom, I'm Nikki Kreis for News 13.
Thank you, Nikki, for that story. Folks, we're going to take a break right now. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we have the panel. We have Janine's going to join us, and we have Kathy Baczynski. She's an award-winning journalist, and we're very happy to have her with us tonight at 8 o'clock. But we have a lot more for you when you come back after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back, folks. Welcome to Decision Day 2011. Joining me on the set, Professor Mike DeCosmo, Dr. David Sosa. Coming up at 8 o'clock, at the top of the hour, we have Kathy Baczynski joining us. I'm very happy to have her with us. Janine Mazakevich, my daughter, will be here, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We will get the results quickly. We'll probably make some predictions within the first 10 minutes of who some of the winners are going to be. We heard, Mike, that in the city of Hazleton, crime is an issue.
Yeah, Sam, no surprise there. In fact, one of the features you brought up, standard speaker, before that I like is know your neighbor, where they just talk. And I would bet if you went back over the last 6 months, probably crime and potholes were the two biggest complaints. And I read that on almost a daily basis. So, you know, I think the condition of the streets, condition of the city in general, and the crime, of course, being number one topic. But I do want to add, though, both of these problems, you know, could be solved if we had a strong enough budget. So I know budget really wasn't mentioned that much, but if you had the money to put 30 more police on the street, and if you had the money to hire 20 more people in the highway garage, a lot of the problems that we're now facing, I'm sure we wouldn't have.
David?
Yeah, I agree with Mike on that. The budget is a little bit more difficult to see, though. Gentleman with Mike's expertise knows budgets, knows the accounting goes along with it, understands that. What people see is what they read in the paper, and that's the crime. And that's what they become most fearful of. They hear the sirens at night, they read it in the paper the next day.
Unfortunately, though, when I agree. I think we've seen some more policemen on the force right now. But when you know, crime is crime. So, but when you look at other cities, and you look at our city, you know, the same. If you look at sister city in the state of Pennsylvania across the country with our city, you're going to find, at least for what the information I've received, our crime is less than those sister cities that are in the same situation as Hazleton is. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing, okay, but at least we don't have a lot of it, okay? And if we have one, it's still too much, and it's not this. Any city's not the same city we had before.
But Sammy, the problem I think in Hazleton has become the perception of crime.
Exactly.
You know, people just are afraid to go down to Wyoming Street and Alter Street and Broad Street. Until we get past that perception, we're going to have a problem.
We took a walk. My wife and I took a walk. We walked Diamond Avenue. We walked Wyoming Street. We went all the different. We just took one day. We just walked all these places. I mean, people were out there, you know, mixed Hispanics, the natives, etc. I mean, we didn't see anything out of the ordinary, but at nighttime, perception is there. Now, are things happening? There's no question about it. But I think you're exactly right. Perception is a concern.
You know, let me toss this one on in too, because there's a lot of people who say, well, I won't go down this street, I won't go down that street. I still live, and I've lived for 30 years on Alter Street. I know a lot of great people who live on Alter Street, and I'm not moving, and I'm not ready to move for any reason. They're great people, and I will walk there, and I'll walk any other place within the city and feel comfortable.
Classic
now,
example.
Is there crime? Yes, there's going to be crime in different places.
When it comes to the school board, folks, Christina D'Amato put together this story, and the question was, what is the one thing the Hazleton area school board candidates want voters to know they stand for? Now here's Christina with that story.
People all throughout Greater Hazleton voted in the race for Hazleton Area School Board. 6 people were vying for 5 open seats. News 13 asked the candidates what's the one thing they want people to know they stand for.
Finally addressing the overcrowding in the school district and bringing accountability, back onto, the board and the district.
I would like very much that they should understand that I stand for a better education overall, and I think that that's going to be achieved through accountability of our staff under the leadership of a very strong superintendent.
One thing is accountability, from top administrative to the school board to all the employees in the school district and to parents of all the children in our district. It's all about people being accountable in order to get the children in our district to the future, to help them and to educate them for the future.
I think it would be that what we need is 9 members of the school board all working together in the same direction to do what's best for the kids in the school district.
Educational excellence and basically fiscal responsibility, that would be another, and fair hiring practices.
I think for the most part, the people of the area know me as a fiscally responsible person. If you look at the votes over the past 4 years and more recently the past year, I am one that has voted against several issues that I think were a waste of time.
This is a race with many issues on the table, from the budget to improving test scores to finding a new superintendent. And we can't forget about the 2 additional buildings recently purchased by the Hazleton Area School District. In the newsroom, Christina D'Amato, News 13.
Thank you, Christina. And there you have another very exciting race. What's going to be now? What's going to the school board race going to be looking like, Dave?
Well, let me just say this. First of all, I think it's going to be a race that is really going to pit Marcy Yannick against Rocco Formica. The others are so strong, individually speaking, that I think that's going to be it. But one of the things that I'm very much concerned about is the challenge to our students and our teachers. When I walk into a classroom, I'm not going to complain about, well, I would rather have this group. I would rather have, I deal with what I have, and I've got to deal with what the materials I have. And that's what the school board directors need to start dealing with. I don't want to hear any more about, well, if we have these teachers, these are good, these are bad. No, let's deal with the teachers, and let's deal with the educational curriculum that we need to carry through to make it successful, period.
Amen. Professor?
Yes, Sam, if you said to me what's the most disappointing, you talked about, we started the show by saying, what's going on in this year's election. And one of the disheartening things to me about the entire area, in Hazleton, obviously, we're seeing the divide along racial lines. With the Latinos, dividing the community a bit, sides are being taken. But then in the school board race, unfortunately, I think what's been happening in the school board is we're almost dividing this community into the people who are for the teachers or against the teachers. And I just don't think it's healthy for the teachers. And I think the tone of this campaign even set that up a little more, that if you vote for Rocco Formica, then you're pro-teacher and you're against the kids, and if you vote for Marcy Yannick, then you're for the kids and against teachers, and that's just not healthy for the community. And I just hope that once this election's over, everyone could sit down and really get on the same page.
I was talking to a school board member today when I was voting, and he said exactly that. He says, after this is done, we have to get together, the board, only the board. And we have to lay it down, and let's get to work, and let's not have this majority minority and who's this and who's that. I've been saying this for years. Okay, this majority minority is a lot of nonsense. Okay, whatever the issue is, discuss the issue. Who's suffering? The kids, the taxpayer, seniors, or people on fixed income. Every time the school board does something, it affects their tax. Well, you know it better than anyone as a tax collector. These people are getting hit left and right. Folks, we're going to be coming up at 8 o'clock. We are going to be joined by Kathy Bozinski, award-winning journalist. We're very happy to have her with us, and we'll be giving you the results as soon as they come in. We have our special people out there who are going to be giving us the information immediately. We're going to take a break. We come back right after this. Thanks for staying with us, folks. Decision Day 2011, and we have a lot of information for you. As soon as we come at 8 o'clock, we'll be joined by Kathy Bozinski, and we're very happy to have her on the set, Professor Mike DeCosmo and Dr. Dave Sosa. Mr. Morelli is in Florida on business, and we'll be probably talking to him a little later on. Okay, so we have the county races, and Kristen Baczynski, no relation to Kathy Baczynski, has a package that we're talking about. We'll be talking about the negative of a campaign. What are your thoughts about that, Mike? The negative ads.
Sammy, I don't mean to sound pretentious when I say this, but I've had my name on the ballot 6 times. I was top vote getter 6 times in a race. I've never run one negative ad in my life. So I think if a person doesn't have anything positive to say about their own qualifications, they shouldn't attack another opponent. The minute I see someone going negative, generally that loses my vote. However, having said that, I know everyone always slows down to look at the car wreck too. So I think people look at them. I don't know how people respond to them, but again, I think this race tonight might be much closer than I ever thought it was going to be from some of the talk I'm hearing on the street. So I think some of these negative ads may have resonated with people. Why, I don't know, but some people do like the negative advertising. I hate it.
Doctor?
Same here. I totally dislike the negative ads, but there's been a choppiness in its success. There are times when you tend to think there's no way on earth that this negative ad campaign is going to work, only to see it succeed. But there's no consistency. There are other people that are totally turned off and the election goes the way it's expected to. So I wish I could give you a good trend, Sam, as to why that happens, but it's at times been successful.
Interesting thing, God forbid we should need a doctor, okay? If there, we need someone who, if we're sick, and we need a doctor for a surgery or whatever the case. What do? We look at qualifications, we Google, we ask questions. We don't care what the person is, whether he's pink, black, but we want the best doctors that we can, and we check for qualifications, okay? Comes to election, I don't like this guy. He did this to my sister. My brother's that bad. Comes from a big family. The old tradition, the old Frankie Faye days. If you're a Slav, you got to put them on the tickets. If you're Irish, and we all pay the price for this. I mean, it's amazing how people will put people in office who are not qualified. Then they're complaining about all these different things. It's just crazy. Vote for the people who are qualified. If they're related to you, fine. If they're related and they are not qualified, you don't vote for them. Mike, what are your thoughts on that before I go to this package with Kristen?
Oh, absolutely. And without taking sides, anyone who looked at the difference in qualifications between Stephanie Salvance and Jackie Musto-Caro, it was almost like a heavyweight fighting a welterweight. I mean, in terms of qualifications, there just wasn't a difference. But again, how much will people be looking at that tonight? I just hope most people do take time to study the qualifications. Sam, I'm giving the average voter the intelligence saying that they do.
And if Stephanie had the qualifications and they checked, then it's a different story. We asked, talking about Luzerne County races, we talked about this. Kristen Baczynski did a story on how do voters feel about candidates who decide to run negative ads. Here's Kristen's story.
Thanks, guys. Call it mudslinging, call it name-calling, basically call it what you want. It's nothing new to see a candidate running for political office turn negative against his or her opponent. But when a campaign heats up with low blows, does the negativity grab your attention or turn you off? News 13 hit the street to talk to voters.
No, I don't think they're helpful, but they've been doing that since elections have been in force. So I don't pay any attention to them because I pick the candidate who I think I can rely on, and that's who I vote for.
I do not go for that. Like when they're slamming each other. You cannot do that.
No, I believe the negative stuff that they're digging up is just for their own idea, what they're trying to get even with somebody, or maybe they're just out to get somebody away from that who can do some good. If they can't do any good, they shouldn't give them any negative stuff.
I don't particularly care for them. There's no place, I think, for mudslinging. It serves no purpose as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't sway me one way or the other. I'd much prefer positive, but unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way.
Now, News 13 also hit Facebook to ask some of our friends on there what they think about negative campaigns, and we got a lot of good responses, and here are just a few. From Jean Bucko Mahalik, she writes, "Yes, it is a turnoff for me, and the more negative it gets, the more of a turnoff it is for me. Yes, I do vote, but really beginning to wonder if it matters because they all say say one thing to get elected, and then when they are in there, they forget about the people. What was said to get them elected, and do what they want anyhow. To me, voting isn't about the better person. It's who I think is the lesser of two evils. And moving on from Tracy Hildebrand, she writes, turn off. They say that you can tell a lot about a person by what they say about other people. Also, what kind of example are they setting? We teach our children to use kind words and actions. We tell our children not to make fun of or bully others. Yet a politician is one of the biggest bullies. They pry on each other's weakness and drag each other through the mud. It just makes me sick. Finally, from Marcia Gorva, yes, absolutely a turnoff. I want to hear what the candidate stands for, and if they have to put someone else down, then they're not who I want representing me. So it seems those candidates who decide to do a little slinging of the mud are actually turning voters away and possibly costing themselves some votes. But those candidates who run a mom-approved campaign are obviously earning some bonus points with the voters. And of course, the voters are who matter the most. In the control room, I'm Kristen Bazinski, and I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kristen. And you get the reaction from people who just get turned off to negative ads. But like you said, how many people stop and see the wreck? Yeah, but how do they respond to that's another thing. They don't really they don't like to see it, but how do they respond to it?
You know, Sam, I think one of the things that's important is how far does the voter want to take to analyze. In every ad, even negative ads, there's usually just a grain of almost truth or truth in it. It's how it's twisted, it's how it's molded to make it as ugly and as muddy as you can get. It's how far do the voters want to look at it and actually judge, I think.
Very quickly, do you think the voters are becoming more and more educated to this kind of nonsense with the negative ads? Mike?
We'll see tonight in this race, but no, I don't, Sam. I really don't. I think now with the talking heads on TV and the cable stations, I think you're seeing more negativity than ever in our ads, both Republican and Democrat parties, in the tone and content. So, I mean, there must be some data out there. There must be something showing them that this works or this gets certain certain parts of the electorate excited.
Dave?
People listen to what they want to, and people believe what they want to. If it's nasty, or if it's right, if it's left, if it's whatever, people listen to what they want.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're hoping that more and more people would become more educated as to who the person is and put people in who are qualified. And I just say we paid a price for that all the time. It's always, Mike, you hear it more than anybody where, you know why such and such is supporting that candidate? Because he or she's going to get a job, or because they're going to do this. They don't care about what it's all about. There always is some kind of hidden agenda. Folks, we're going to be coming up right after this break. We'll be joined by Kathy Bazinski. I'm very happy to have her on the set tonight, award-winning journalist. She is now working in 1010 Wins in New York City, a CBS that's the #1 radio station in New York City, freelancing. And we're very happy to have her input. We'll be coming back. We will have all of our reporters are at the polls. We have other people at the polls. We will have the results as quickly as we can get them, and you'll be surprised. We'll be making some shots within probably the first 15 or 20 minutes, I'm thinking, on a couple areas of the polls where they're open. We have some surprises. We did some exit polls today, and hopefully we'll be able to give you some information. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this. Well, folks, thanks for joining us again. I'm Sam Lassant. Joining me on set now, Professor Mike DeCosmo, and we're happy to have Kathy Bazinski with us. Kathy, it's so nice to have you on our set.
It's a pleasure to be here. This is a very exciting election here, not only in the southern part of Luzerne County, but for all of Luzerne County itself. It's a big historic election, and I'm glad to be part of it.
You certainly know a lot about it because you were the public information officer for 4 years, correct?
Yes, I was for Luzerne County in 2004 through 2008, and I hope that Luzerne County residents grasp the historic moment this actually is. This is going to be a big change in the way Luzerne County governs itself, and hopefully it's going to be a change for a better. A lot of thought went into this with the home rule process, and it's not going to be the way that we've always done government since the incorporation of Luzerne County itself. It's going to be a whole new ballgame. I'm sure when folks walked into the voting booth today and looked at 28 candidates and had to probably just went, whew, what do I do with this? But it's an important part today to take the first step toward this new form of government.
So in the 4 years that you were the public information officer, did you write your book yet?
I'll tell you, I have way too many chapters, but there are you know something, people have asked me to write a book, and I'm considering it.
I'm telling you, you probably have. You know, it's when the home rule thing came out. You know, I particularly wasn't supporting it. I thought they would be throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Okay, but however, that being said, what do you think Luzerne County has to look forward to now, as far as the council is concerned?
Well, hopefully more openness. And I know a lot of people during the home rule process, when they were really had the study commission going, put it up for election and for a vote by the public, thought, oh no, there's just going to be more opportunity for graft and corruption. I disagree with that. We see how things turned out with a 3-person commission. And quite honestly, as being a part of that, when you look throughout government in the United States itself, it's based on a system of checks and balances. And where you have the Congress and the executive branch in Washington and the judicial branch. In essence, in the 3-commissioner form of government, the executive and legislative branch are pretty much one and the same. In theory, there should be a watchdog, which should be the minority commissioner, and that has happened in the past. But still, with only 3 people, at the end of the day, many times it might just be the majority commissioner, the chairman, who's in the majority of making decisions. And you know, that's a lot of room. There is a lot of room for people to serve other interests. With 11 people on the commission, it's going to be much more dialogue and much more open, I believe.
Well, you sat, and you know, we'll be getting numbers shortly. Before we get those numbers in, your reflection on what happened in the last 2 or 3 years in our county. Okay, being that you sat there as the public information officer.
Absolutely.
Okay, how did you respond to that? Because you were in it.
In all honesty, a lot of the folks who were affected by this and played roles were people that I worked with every day or had contact with on a regular basis. A lot of people, and interesting you asked that, I've never spoken publicly about this before, but a lot of folks that I had personal relationships with really had a lot of trust in, and I was let down, like many, many people were in Luzerne County government and throughout Luzerne County itself. But at the same time, you know, people are human. They made some poor choices. And, you know, as I said, I was let down, but, you know, hopefully, you know, a lot of these people that I remain friends with them as well, they've redeemed themselves. They've had to deal with it, and hopefully we'll come out of this with some room for growth. And that's my hope.
I think we have a great county. I think
Absolutely.
Luzerne County, you know, we have a lot of great people, hardworking people, and you know, sometimes, you know, there's always 3 sides to every story, as we all know.
You're right.
And sometimes, you know, Mike, I know you know, you may know things that really were not made public, okay? And it's very difficult sometimes when you know that information and you can't say anything about it.
Yes, Em. I mean, I agree. It's a whole new chapter in Luzerne County. You know, I mean, what happened, and you know, there are still stories going around almost on a daily basis down here in Hazleton, is that the investigation's far from over. People are waiting for the next shoe to drop in a lot of cases. But the fact of the matter is, getting back to this new form of government, as Kathy so perfectly put it, you know, it's a new chapter in Luzerne County, and I think the key to this working or not working is going to be the manager they bring in. You know, we're going to have this system of checks and balances, but if we hire the right person at the helm, and again, I just hope and pray, and one of my complaints from the beginning, Kathy, was that, you know, a lot of these people look very good on paper, and it's not just some lifelong bureaucrat who's jumped from city to city and has all these ideas and is ready to use this as a stepping stone to go somewhere else, but is really concerned about Luzerne County and the people and really healing a lot of the wounds.
I couldn't agree more. I think this person has to have sort of 2 tracks of qualification. First of all, from the business and management end, they have to have a proven record of being able to handle a multi-million-dollar business, which is what Luzerne County is. But on the other hand, they have to know the county, the people, some of the backstories, and the way, in some ways, Luzerne County has traditionally done business, keep the better parts of that, and develop new ways of doing business as we all move forward.
We discussed the half hour prior to coming on at 8 o'clock about the low voter turnout and how disappointed it is, okay? Because we have people who are concerned about what's going on. How do you reflect? What's your opinion on that?
It's such an important election, but I also think, you know, unfortunately, even though I have hope, a lot of people, I think, and maybe you can agree with me, think, oh, this is just going to be more of the same. We're coming out of one of the, if not the worst chapter of Luzerne County history. And a lot of people are jaded by that. A lot of people are overwhelmed by the challenge of taking this huge field of candidates for this new county council and whittling it down to 11. As I said, you walk in and look at the electronic voting machine and you see all these candidates. What do you do? I suspect that there will have been a lot of voters out there today who won't choose 11 candidates, but say, I know these 4 people, I'll vote for them, and let the rest of it go. And that will definitely influence who wins those 11 slots tonight.
Who do you think the manager should be? What should be their qualifications? Being that you were in that position for 4 years and you've seen so many things happen. So if you were on that council, what would be your list of qualifications for that manager?
Well, first of all, even though it was a very tough period during which I was in Luzerne County government, I can say that at the end of the day, all the details fell to the existing county chief clerk and county manager at that point. It's an overwhelming amount of work, and you have to put on so many different hats. You're involved in not just the running of the day-to-day. You sort of extend to oversee the financial aspects. You're dealing with some human resources issues with the human resources director. You're doing the negotiating with the unions in Luzerne County. You're also the old chief clerk, and it won't be as much with the county manager, had to deal with a lot of political aspects and sort of navigating those waters, which you know, I used to say that Luzerne County government, on a good day, it was 80% business and 20% politics. But there were a lot of bad days where it flipped in the other direction. But the key is to try to keep that ratio, because it's not a business. It is government, and there is a political component in that, and there's always going to be. And that's one of the issues too. They're also going to have to be able to sort of finesse the situation, realize, again, taking into account the tradition and history of Luzerne County, and you know, Luzerne County. People love their politics here. People love specific areas. They probably to our detriment. A lot of different areas want to hang on to as much power as possible rather than working together to advance, and that's an issue in Luzerne County.
It's a major.
And I saw that firsthand frequently when I was working for county government.
Coming to the local races here, when you know, starting with the school board, Hazelton Area School Board. Here is a situation where there's going to be some major decisions made with our school board, buildings, expansion, you know, and there has to be a lot of creative thought here, working together and not factions. Okay, and we're hoping that it's going to be that way. Your reflection on the school board race, Mike.
Yeah, the school board race, Sam, like you said, some of the biggest decisions financially that the school board is going to be making maybe in its history, especially with potentially 2 new buildings coming on. And again, Sammy, unfortunately, as Kathy alluded to perfectly, is that the factions that have always existed on the school board, once again, it looks like after this election, you know, we're still going to have pretty much this election's about the swing vote in terms of majority and minority. And I know most of the school board candidates, even on the debates here you had in Channel 13, everyone is pledged to work together and be on the same page, but the reality of the situation is the old politics are going to die hard. And, you know, when it comes to the finances, there's going to be some real tough decisions to be made, but when it comes to politics, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how the new board shakes down.
The race is between
Murphy, Dagenhart, Yannick, and Rocco Formica. And once again, Sammy, talking about this divide, and I'll be real happy when the school board race is over, because frankly, Kathy, down here, I mean, what we've seen is it's almost a race where, you know, Rocco Formica is a former educator. He's taught for 40 years, and Murphy Dagenhart, Yannick, is in healthcare profession. She's a head nurse, and her family's been politically active for years. Her brother John was a city treasurer in Hazelton, never lost a race. Her father never lost a school board race, and the only race her father ever lost, the only race that Dagenhart ever lost in her life was her father ran against Todd Aegis the first time he ran the primary for state representative, and he lost by under 120 votes to Todd Aegis. So this is a very strong political family, a lot of political background. But having said that, you know, this race has almost become, with the letters to the editors and the advertisement, one which is dividing the community even more, where if you vote for Rocco Formica, then you're pro-teacher. If you vote for Marfi Yannick, then you're pro-student. And it's almost like this line's being drawn in the community, and I don't think it's just good for the community, Kathy.
You know, I agree, and allow me to put on my other journalist hat. From when I worked for WBRE-TV, I covered Hanover Area School District frequently, covered school districts throughout not just Luzerne County, but all of northeastern Pennsylvania. And the Hazleton Area School Board has always been a tough crowd.
No, you're kidding.
Really, I can check off all the superintendents who were there, which I covered over time, and most of them left under very adversarial circumstances.
I'm thinking that with this, whatever the board is going to be, the fact that we have our media partnership with the Standard Speaker, you know, we don't have any agenda, and I think with the fact that we're going to pay very close attention to what's going on and exposing a lot of things, which is a great thing. Folks, if you just tuned in, you're watching Decision Day 2011. I'm very happy to have Kathy Baczynski on the set. As you know, Kathy is an award-winning journalist, and Mike DeCosmo. On the other set, we have Janine Mazurkiewicz, my daughter, and Dr. Sosar. We come back, we'll be talking to them a little bit. We will have results as soon as they coming in. We do have a few things we'll be talking about. We are in the Cunningham Council. It's a hot race. The Hazleton races between Yanuzzi, Grace, and Nedashevsky, another interesting race. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Decision Day 2011, folks. I'm Sam Lassand. Joining me on my set, Professor Mike DeCosmo, and we're very happy to have Kathy Baczynski with us. No relation to Kristen Baczynski, incidentally. And also on the other set, we have Janine Mazurkiewicz, my daughter, and the doctor himself, Dr. Sosar. And so why don't we go to that set, and they'll tell you what they'll be doing from now until 11 o'clock. Janine?
All right, well, thank you, and welcome to Kathy. Thanks for coming down and adding some female perspective to the set here on Decision Day 2011. And I like this being on Inside Scoop set with you.
This is pleasant. I
is
like
nice.
this. Yeah.
Poor Rick, he's away, but you know, we'll be talking with him later on.
I feel comfortable in this seat. I feel like I've been here before.
You have. And on this set, we're going to do something new tonight, and we are going to be providing you with the interviews from the winning candidates, and specifically getting their input via the phone and asking them questions, and having it a little more organized with the candidates being able to hear us from their destinations of
Which is great.
their victory land. I know that we hit on some of the key races, Luzerne County Council, District Attorney, we hit on Hazleton City races, and we hit on obviously the Hazleton Area School Board. Let's talk about, there is a race in the Valley, the Cunningham area, and that brought a lot of voter turnout. I was around to some of the polls in the Valley because I wanted to see what voter turnout was today. Let me tell you, Sugarloaf a little slower. Cunningham was happening, stopped at around 12:30, and they had a steady number of voters, 1,400 registered voters approximately in Cunningham. And what brought people out for this is a local race, and that is with some write-in candidates.
Some write-in candidates and the city and the town council race in that particular area. Now, I think if you check the newspaper yesterday, it kind of really spelled out a lot of the issues that are going on down there as well that really dealt with Cunningham Borough. From some of the budget, I took notice with quite interest. The Sewer and Water Authority that they want to protect. I took notice as well that they're worried about their budget as usual. They were worried about that building as well, the famous building, the Cunningham Municipal Building.
It seemed to me that the mayor, Joe Corelli, has his own team.
Yeah.
And really, you're going to see tonight if voters come out and support that team and the write-in candidates. Obviously, they're supporting the mayor, and they are supporting against council's decision to sell that building for, I believe it was $500.
$500. And the interesting thing here again, too, knowing a number of these names on here, this is going to be a race on the issue. This is not a political
absolutely.
party race, because there are many people here who really, if you're a Republican down in Cunningham, you make up the majority to begin with, and this is going to be almost an all Republican race. Really, when it comes down to it.
When we look at the historical race and we look at the historical views of this election, let's talk about two write-in candidates in Cunningham, which is, and two candidates who really have a shot at winning in this election.
And let me remind you that, and to the voters out there, that a write-in candidate now, with the kind of machines that we have, make it so much easier. It really depends upon making sure that everybody votes the same name in the same way. And these gentlemen, if I remember correctly, have a pretty much concerted effort in getting that write-in in there and in the same manner, which will really be what counts. So it'll be quite an interesting issue tonight to see how they do.
Other candidates that we should talk about in Butler Township. Now we have the former police chief giving up his position and running for supervisor. What does that race look like?
Well, you know what? Again, now here we're talking about name recognition. Certainly the gentleman that they replaced, Mr. Shellhammer, an institution down there, and we know that whoever takes this position is going to be sitting in there as of almost literally tomorrow. They're going to get appointed anyway because the voters will have spoken, and that's what the other supervisors have been waiting for. So it'll be interesting to watch. Literally speaking, I think, again, in this kind of race, people who have their base are going to get their votes on out. A small vote turnout, base wins.
And not to mention, let's talk about crime, a former police chief with looking at credentials, name recognition. The former police chief knows a little bit about fighting crime, so we'll see how that race pans out. And also the Butler Township Auditor, we have the incumbent Sue Rossai with Jeff Nestler. We hit on 7:30 to 8 o'clock, we did talk about how the negative ads affect the voters, and are voters more educated this time around? My opinion is that viewers have more information now than ever to get involved. If you aren't voting, I believe you're pure just lazy or do not care about the area, because we have social media now, we have candidates on Facebook, we have candidates on LinkedIn, we have candidates all over the place. You can take your phone by a click and know the candidates at the polls to see who you should be voting for. So 30% coming out today, I think is, we should look at that social media and see what candidates do. And that is really their resume. That's what I looked at, their Facebook's account. See what kind of messages they are sending out to the public on different forms of advertising.
It's funny that you mentioned that, and especially this is amongst the young voters. This is amongst a group that traditionally has not been there, but the Facebook, the rest of the social networking, the old-fashioned way was knocking on the door, and I still believe that there's a reason for that. But there's so many other ways to connect at this point. But again, the fact is that people have to open themselves on up to it and be ready for it and to take it to heart and use it. Unfortunately, nice as a day as it is, I'm still disheartened by really what I've seen so far. And I'll go back to my old statement, the base wins.
We'll have to see. Well, we are going to be here all night, and we cannot wait to talk to the winners. Again, the polls are closed at 8 o'clock. So now it's time to see Decision Day 2011, who the winners are of this historical day in the area for election. So we'll go back to you on the other side.
Thanks, Janine. We're getting some calls in already, and we'll be having some information as quickly as they come. The Hazleton mayoral race is an interesting race in Hazleton, particularly with the three candidates. Your response to the Hazleton mayoral race and how, when you were covering, Kathy, this area, how things are different maybe from Hazleton versus Wilkes-Barre?
Well, first of all, I think in general, things are changing in Luzerne County, as we know, in terms of demographics and some of the issues that we're facing, especially in Hazleton. You have seen a change over the past less than 10 years. But when I was covering Hazleton city government and the Hazleton area, then when I worked hand in hand with now Congressman, former Mayor Barletta from 04 till 08, you can see the evolution of the type of problems that were facing the Hazleton area. Now, early in the past decade, it was more economic problems, and those still remain. But from that time have come in, the different problems with the more diversity that is taking place in the Hazleton area, and then also as well the escalating crime problems, and it's a whole new ball game. As I said before, with the school board, especially with city government here in Hazleton, things are changing. There are new problems to be addressed, and those problems aren't going to go away, and it's going to take a lot of effort.
We have some results. Janine, you have something to tell us here?
Yes, we do. We have, thanks to the movement of technology, Kristen Mazinski is getting Billy Gallagher on the phone, and we have most of the precincts in reporting that Billy Gallagher is declaring
substantially ahead at this point. Mr. Wench has won one of the precincts so far, but that's really it. And I think what you're going to see is this trend continue at this point. I think that's what basically you saw, however, in the other races.
At some of them. We are waiting for Kristen to call with Billy Gallagher, but again, background, maybe we are voting on name recognition.
Oh yeah, I think most definitely.
This will be how many terms is he in office?
Oh gosh, I guess this is his third, if I remember correctly.
Third or fourth term?
Yeah, and I think, again, this one was a given right from the beginning, but we do have the numbers of votes that Jamie Dixon has, and this was just a foregone conclusion. He was already elected, but the votes are there once again, and we have a couple of races, in fact, even on the school board right now.
Yes.
Some early returns from Hazel Township, and it looks as though, as a matter of fact, Wallace is the top vote getter. The Marfie Degenhart is coming in just a little bit behind in 6th place, right behind Brian Early. But Rocco Formica, again, a little bit ahead in one of the polls. Now, I don't have the exact ward. Kind of the same thing true here. Marfie Degenhart behind Rocco Formica again. Brian Early coming in. No, I'm sorry again. Marfie Degenhart behind Rocco Formica again. Everybody else in the lead further yet.
Again, this is Hazel Township reporting, declaring Gallagher the winner for supervisor. We are waiting for Kristen to call in with an interview with him. Again, for these precincts reporting in Hazel Township, we're looking at Robbie Wallace as one of the top vote getters, Tony Bonomo, and we're also looking at Dr. Bob Childs, and again, Robbie Wallace. So your analyzation on that, folks.
I don't think there was a surprise there with Gallagher, right, Mike?
Well, no, the Gallagher really wasn't a surprise. Once again, we talked about turnout a couple times now tonight, Sammy. Of course, I'm a Hazel Township guy, being the Hazel Township tax collector down there. It's a strong Democratic community. It's still registration edge, almost 2-to-1. Billy Gallagher has been chairman of the supervisors. Most of the time he's been down there. He's done a magnificent job with the fire department. Billy is honest as the day is long. There's really no surprise there. But let me just say he ran against a real fine gentleman in Rich Winches, who won as a write-in candidate in the primary, did a lot of door-to-door here in the general, so it really doesn't shock me or surprise me that he did win one district, because I would bet that's the first ward, although I haven't seen the numbers, but it was a real grassroots campaign. Neither candidate spent much money, and they just sort of relied on who they knew. What is very surprising with the township vote, though, Dave, and I don't know how many other wards you have in right now, but in a primary election, from what you were saying, and Marfie Degenhart is trailing Rocco Formica. In the primary election, she did defeat Rocco Formica in the Hazel Township. So if Rocco Formica is reversing that trend here, that could bode well for him in the district-wide vote.
Do we have Gallagher on the phone right now?
Billy, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Congratulations. You are live on the air with Dr. Dave Sosar and myself. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Janine.
Congratulations, Bill. Best of luck.
Thanks, Doc. How you doing?
Good. Listen, after the all of the hoopla now of the celebrations are finished as of tonight, where do you go from here now? What are some of the important issues that you really feel that need to be taken hold of in this particular time period?
Well, I think we're just going to continue on. You know, we're doing a lot of work in the township. We have a lot of business coming in. You know, we keep striving for that. We go out and sell Hazel Township every day. A lot of the national companies that have relocated in the last 6 years are looking for expansions right now, and we want to bring our workforce in a little bit higher. We're up to about 16,000 people working in the township, and you know, we're going to keep working hard every day like we've done for the last 6 years. And with Butchie and Andy, you know, we're just going to continue on. We have a lot of projects we want to finish, and hopefully, you know, we'll have another 6 good years to continue and keep growing in the township.
Well, you certainly have had that growth, Bill. All you got to do is just take a look around. I've driven on some of your newer roads as well. It's a help for me to get from point A to point B at this point. You guys just keep on doing what you're doing, and you know, again, we want to congratulate you on a good fight and a victory tonight.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in.
Okay, thanks, Janine.
All right, so there you go. We're getting the numbers in, and I believe we are getting numbers in from Freeland. So we are waiting on some numbers from the Freeland area to see again with the race for mayor, and there is a race for council, which could change the majority. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we have Foster Township, and we're still waiting on some numbers from Sugarloaf. We're going to go back to you until we compile some of these numbers together.
Tell you we have those numbers in. We have some more surprises for you folks coming up. Mike, you were saying something?
Sam, just one other point. I wish Bill was still on the phone, but what people don't realize, and I'm sure Kathy's well aware from her time up in the county, you know, Hazel Township had at the beginning of this year ranked second in the county in terms of tax base. Based on the numbers coming in this year, it looks like Hazel Township is going to be the largest assessed tax municipality in all of Luzerne County. So again, whatever Bill Gallagher's doing and the other supervisors over there, and I'd like to think the tax collector too, but I mean, people don't realize what a jewel we have down here in Hazel Township and how important we are to the entire county tax base.
Well, other than the tax collector we have in Hazel Township, I think we're doing fine. Kathy, it's interesting when you're talking about the different municipalities and working together. Is when you sat as the public information officer, how important is it that, you know, even though we're not close to Wilkes-Barre, but Mountaintop and West Hazelton, all the municipalities working together for better government?
It's essential. As you know, with just let's talk about the United States. It's no longer a U.S. economy, it's a global economy. That in particular, we are part of that effort, especially in a time when our own economy here at home is in such great peril, where every community has to work with its neighbors, especially in a place like Luzerne County, and work together on the initiatives that are going to improve education, that are going to fight crime, that are going to improve the economic base in our area. And it can't just be a place like Hazel Township doing it alone. Everybody has to work together, and that's why it's so important that, and Luzerne County, like many other counties here in Pennsylvania across the state, everybody traditionally has had their little fiefdom. Nobody wants to share, nobody wants to create some synthesis that is going to promote the common good and make things better. But those days are coming where we're being forced to do that. And I really think the time is now, and especially with the transition in Luzerne County government as a whole, it's time for everybody to get on board and let's work together, because we have incredible people here. Luzerne County is an incredible place. It's my home. I'm working in NYC right now, but I come back here when I'm not because it's my home. And it's just a great place to live. It's a great place to work, and we want put more people to work here. So I think it's time that everybody comes together and really go out there and work hard to claim what should be here in Luzerne County.
Thank you, folks. If you're tuned in, you're watching Decision Day 2011 right here on SSP TV, along with our media sponsors, the Standard Speaker. For full information on this election, always turn to the Standard Speaker. We'll be back right after this message. We have some more results, surprising results. Stay with us. Welcome back to Decision Day 2011, folks. We're getting some returns come in. I'm going to switch this over to Janine and Dr. Sosar. Some surprising results so far. Not final, but surprising results. Janine?
Well, we have some of the words in from the city of Hazelton, and we have Grace Kuzo.
Grace Kuzo is by 5 wards, and we're talking about Ward 2, Ward 9, Ward 10, Ward 11, and Ward 8. And at that point, we're talking about Grace Kuzo actually winning, or I should say leading by approximately 100 votes. We've got a horse race going on right now. But Keith Bast is by far the top vote getter here, but we're talking about a horse race between Evelyn Graham and Jean Mope, and the number of votes is really only beginning to reach the double digits at this point. So it really is a horse race just in these 5 wards. In the 2 wards that we've got from Freeland at present time, we've got Tammy Martin, as I think pretty much might have been expected, in a 2-to-1 lead here. Just about 303 votes out of Ward 1 and Ward 2 to George Barnes' 155 votes. So it looks like that trend, and what would be expected as far as for Tammy at this point. I'm sorry, in the time remaining, I still haven't gotten a chance to tally some of the council race votes, but we'll take care of that right now as well. I will say in Hazleton, besides that, in the school board race, again, and you can see it, people really knew when they went out to vote this time. They had a concerted effort, and the numbers for Rocco Formica and Marcy Degenhart in the city of Hazleton are exact. And we're talking 100, 100, 152, 152. So it's not going to be in the city of Hazleton, it would seem, but in the outskirts that really will do the electing of the next school board member. Those 2 are the lowest vote count as well.
So again,
the others are there.
So we're looking at the predictable winners for these races. The city of Hazleton, we are maybe looking at an upset this evening if the trend continues with some of these Hazleton city wards reporting. Are those Hazleton numbers?
I have just one more in Hazleton. This is Ward 1. This is the Hazleton Twin Towers, a very, I shouldn't say a small one, but small enough. And Joe Yanuzzi actually won that particular one, 133 to 128. When you're talking about the Mope Graham race, actually Mope, just with this one, goes a little bit into the lead with a 170 to 132, and that's in Ward 1. In Ward 3, now this is one where you'd expect to see Kuzo not do as well and Yanuzzi do well, and that's exactly what happened. Grace Kuzo, 120 votes. Joe Yanuzzi really kind of evens the playing field, if not vaulting into the lead a little bit, with 252 votes out of that particular ward. Evelyn Graham with 202 votes, not quite as strong as might be expected. Jean Mope came in with 176, so that one stays close. And Keith Bast, really, again, far ahead with 299 just in that ward alone. Keith Bast, I would suggest, is going to be the winner tonight, and I have no problem predicting that one already. The race will be between the other 2.
Now, do you think that voter turnout with the nice weather and people coming out in the city of Hazleton, it usually helps the incumbent?
Usually helps the incumbent. You would have expected so. I think some of the reports the last few days from the newspaper, not so much in the debates here, but I think in the council race, some of the comments that were made in the paper really began to make people maybe change their mind. I don't want to speculate too much. That's an assumption on my part. But there certainly were some criticisms by way of Mrs. Mope, Mrs. Graham, in regards to each other that maybe some people began to take to heart.
And as mentioned, as you look over those numbers from the next ward reporting
I also
in
have Hazleton Ward 4, Kuzo 71, Joe Yanuzzi 112. Again, about a 41 vote differential there. So Joe is picking on up in the wards that he would have expected to pick up in. Jean Mope 112, Evelyn Graham 101. Not doing quite as well in that particular ward as she normally has done. So, and again, Keith Bast 163. So again, I think it's safe to say, Sam, that Keith Bast is at least one of the council members, and we're going to follow these 2 races for city council and for city mayor real close at this point.
And it has
we're
been
getting close.
mentioned, the Kuzo name has been out there. Grace has been out into the community in these committees as a community watchdog for many, many years. So that might have a good part to play for her this evening. As we get the numbers in, we'll keep you updated. Again, neck and neck for Hazleton City Mayor.
All right, thank you. Is Mike, interesting numbers coming in?
Yeah, they are interesting, and again, they're interesting from where the parts of the town they're coming. Down, I guess, in the Mother Grace area, I would have expected Joe Yanuzzi to run a little bit stronger down there. Again, the Yanuzzi family, Mother Grace Parish down there. I thought Joe would have won that. I believe Dave said that Grace won down there. Up in the Terrace section of town, which has been a big Republican ward, of course, that's where Mrs. Graham lives. Lou Barletta always carried that overwhelmingly. Joe won it about 2-1, which I'd expect. I thought maybe he would have won that a little big. That was actually a low turnout for that ward. So again, right now, I guess with the numbers they've been reporting, it looks about even. One of the things that I'm sort of a little bit interested in at this point, Sammy, is I wonder what kind of vote Mr. Metashevsky's getting, because Mr. Metashevsky, if there's anything at all, I wonder where those votes would have gone, because it sounds like this election could come down to about 100 votes, 200 votes. A guy like John Metashevsky could actually turn out to be a spoiler. But again, we'll see. And I want to see which precincts we're going to be reporting on.
Well, we have we're going to have some. We have Gallagher, who is a winner in in Hazel Township, Tammy Martin in Freeland, and we have some other results coming in right now. We'll be right back after this message.
Welcome back to Decision Day 2011. Always an interesting race in the city of Hazleton, neck and neck for Hazleton mayor, but we have declared the winner already for Freeland mayor, and we have Mayor Tammy Martin on the phone with us right now. Congratulations to you, Tammy.
Thank you very much, Janine.
Congratulations, Tammy.
Thank you.
Now, your first official win here with going with the appointment with your husband, the late Tim Martin, who we will never forget. So how does it feel to officially be elected as mayor?
I'm honored. The council that we have right now, it's a great group of people. We all work together. I'm just honored that the citizens of Freeland think that I can still do the job.
Over this last year, you were passionate to take over all of the committees, and I would like to emphasize all of the committees that Tim and his legacy to move that forward. What do you hope to do in your first term as official mayor?
So I'd just like to keep going forward. I mean, like I said, we made a lot of tough decisions this year. Our police department's back on track where it should be. Our street department's back on track. We have some tough decisions, but together we all get along. There's no arguing. We have our differences, but we always seem to work them out in the end.
Freeland is a really terrific community, and every time you go to Freeland, it's when it is Center Street, it's really named appropriately, because I really feel that is the center of attention, with all of the Freeland residents really having a close knit there. Do you feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. Freeland is a very close-knit community. I always say Freeland, a small town with a big heart.
Absolutely.
When you need Freeland, they come out.
And you know what, Tammy, I'll say this too. I think that Freeland is one of those unique communities. It really does bring itself together, and I've got to congratulate you too, because you've continued that. I think that legacy that Tim so eloquently and so well in his activities did, and I think you're bringing that same energy to keep that community together. And I got to salute you for that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Good job and congratulations. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Let me just mention this as well, as long as we're at it. I did some compiling in the time period between the breaks, and in the council race of Hazleton, we're looking at really an 84, with 9 wards in, 84 vote differential between Jean Mope and Evelyn Graham. And we're looking at a 110 vote differential between Joe Yanuzzi, in the lead at present time, and Grace Kuzo. So this really is the horse races of the lower Luzerne County, and we'll try to keep as much up to date on it as possible.
And before we go back, let's continue with Freeland. The Freeland Council, we have winners declared. John Potowski, he's the incumbent. John Buda, the incumbent. A close race with only 6 votes behind is Joan Urenchek. She is behind Barbara Tolanowski. So there's probably going to be some reading of the absentee ballots. We're going to go back to you to get some more results probably on the county races.
We welcome Kathy Baczynski here on the set. As you know, Kathy is an award-winning journalist, and we're very happy to have her on the set tonight. Rick Morelli is in Florida on business, and we'll be probably talking to Rick a little later on. Speaking of the county council, Kathy, what are we looking like so far?
Well, first of all, I have to comment. Janine and I are here on our smartphones. We've got the laptops over here. It is a whole new world when it comes to the elections. Right now, we've got, I think, 58 precincts out of 189 are in. And Tim McGinley, who is a Democrat from Kingston, currently works with the Commission on Economic Opportunity, is the leading vote getter as far as county council, followed by Ed Berminski, Jim Boback, present Commissioner Stephen A. Urban, his son is also running, Linda McCloskey-Houck, Eileen Sorokas, Rick Williams, Harry Haas, Rick Morelli, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got to count 11 because there are 11 spots. 9, 10, 11. Okay, those are the top 11 right there. But it's a real horse race with just 10, 20, 30 votes between them.
What's happening
going right
in the
down the
DA's
line.
race?
DA's race. Earlier, let's see, what do we got here?
Which was
Again, very close. We've got Jackie Musto-Carroll with about 52% of the vote and Stephanie Salavantis with about 47% of the vote.
Mike,
so that's kind of close.
You were pretty on target with that one, too, so it was going to be a close one.
Yeah, I really do believe that, Sammy. I think if this election's held 3 months ago without any of negative advertising, I think Jackie Musto-Carroll wins by 30 to 40%.
Absolutely.
And, again, just the comments I was hearing, I heard 2 comments in my tax office, and it's very small sampling, Kathy, of course, but 2 lifelong Democrats who were in Monday, and they both told me they were voting for Salavantis, and it sort of shocked me. And they said it's one of the first times in their life they've ever voted Democrat or voted Republican as Democrats, and again, it's because of the campaign she ran. So once again.
And it's interesting to point out that in the textbook, when it comes to running for a position which you have no experience for, you have no record to run on, so you have to go negative against the person who is the incumbent. Unfortunately, circumstances in Luzerne County allowed Stephanie Salavantis to touch a real nerve, apparently. And this is, you were right when you called this. I'm a little surprised. I know Jackie Musto-Carroll personally, have worked with her a lot. She's sort of a quiet, determined person. I think in some points she didn't possibly address the negative advertising as aggressively as she might have, and that may be the resulting result in the vote right now. But once again, we're only at about, not even a third of the way in of the precincts counted at this point. So still a lot of votes to come in tonight.
It's early. Just one other thing, Sammy, too, with the judges' race. And again, it's early, and it's too early to tell some kind of a trend. But we start with Jennifer Rogers at the top, running first. The person who would seem to be the odd man out at this point is Dick Hughes. But again, we're talking within 100 votes, and again, very small sampling.
The thing about it is all of the candidates running for these positions have outstanding reputations, are generally liked by one another.
Yes.
There was no negative advertising because it was such a collegial atmosphere of these folks running that there was very little difference between them. At the end of the day, Dick Hughes, who only won the Republican nomination, because of the demographics in the county, Democrats versus Republicans, he may be the odd man out as he was 2 years ago. So who knows?
We're going to go back to Janine on the set. Janine, you have some other numbers there for us?
Yeah, we have some results in. We're reporting from Kristen Baczynski that Grace Kuzo has conceded, so she must have more of the numbers reporting.
Yeah. We've got 9 of the precincts on in, but it did look as though the trend was beginning to change in some of the bigger wards. Most Precious Blood, Ward 9. If you talk about Mother Grace wards, those were going, and as well the Terrace, were going towards Joe Yanuzzi. And therefore, it looks as though that trend will continue. Now, one of the other interesting races. Yes. Oh,
yes,
okay.
we have Joe on the phone, and we are saying that Kristen is reporting that Kuzo is asking, of course, for a recount and a close look at the absentee ballot. So again, she is conceding, reporting from Kristen Baczynski, but she is asking for a recount. Let's go to Mayor Yanuzzi. Mayor Yanuzzi?
Hi, this is Nikki. I'm going to put Mary Newsy on.
Thank you so much.
Okay, here he is. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Dave Sosar. Congratulations.
Thanks, Dave.
Good tight race. How do you feel, and what's the mood that you're going through right now?
The mood I'm going through is up and down, to tell you the truth. People are declaring me the winner, but I don't have any numbers in front of me, but I'm excited, and I'm very happy to take that as a win.
Terrific.
And Mayor, were you concerned with how close the race is? We are reporting with Chris Baczynski that Kuzo has conceded to the race, but she is also asking for a recount of the absentee ballots. Your comments on that?
On her suggestions, I mean, that's a prerogative to do that. The race was very, very tight. I'm probably attributing that to people who were not out today, who stood home and figured they knew what was going to happen, so they didn't come out and vote. So that's why the turnout was low, and that's why they were so close.
Joe, what do you think now? What steps do you want to take first and foremost now that the election's behind you and you can start planning for the next 4 years?
Well, I have a lot of stuff already planned, and there are several ideas that are in the middle of right now. And one is reorganize the police department. I'm going to probably be announcing that in a week or so, and there'll be promotions in that. So we'll be getting prepared to receive these 4 new officers and keep up the peace force.
Okay, sounds great. Anything else that you'd like to say to the general public, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, I would. I want to thank everybody for voting, no matter who their candidate was. But I want to especially thank the people that voted for me. And the ones that didn't, I will make them proud.
We look forward to working with you on News 13 as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
You know, we would like to point out that I do have Kristen Baczynski reporting with Grace Kuzo right now. I did ask if, Grace, if you're listening, if you're watching News 13 SSP TV, if you could give us a call. We'd love to hear from you and hear your side on this race. She is Kristen is trying to get some kind of comment from Mrs. Kuzo, if she could call us and get something. But again, Kristen is reporting that she has conceded and she is asking for a recount of those absentee ballots. And we invite you to call in live with us as well here on Decision Day 2011.
And just as an update too, in Butler Township, we'd like to report that from the 4 wards, 1, 2, 3, and 4, Charlie Metler was the victor in all 4 wards for the Butler Township Supervisor and for the Butler Township Auditor for another 6 years, incumbent Sue Rossai. The numbers are quite large as a differential in both cases, so haven't had a chance to really add them all up as of yet, but we can announce those 2 as the winners as well.
All right, so again, some close races here for Decision Day 2011. We have declared most of those winners here on a local basis. We're going to go back to you to get some county numbers.
All right, thank you. Some trends looking like developing, Kathy, in the county.
Just a little bit. You know, it's at the end of the day, it becomes Democrat versus Republican, and there's a higher Democratic registration. So in particular with the judges race, Dick Hughes, who again won in the primary only on the Republican side, he's the low man out right now.
You think they went in and voted straight Democratic, Mike?
It doesn't appear that way, Sam, only because when I look at the vote for the members of the municipal council, even though the top 5 positions right now are Democrat, 3 of the next 4 are Republican with 1 independent. So it looks like on the county council, at least, there was some ticket splitting. But for the judgeship, I think what's happening, Sam, and I think it's still too early to call, though there is a trend where Dick Hughes is falling further behind. The southern end of Luzerne County, and Kathy worked with this when she was working in the courthouse, is always the latest part to come in, and I think Dick Hughes will run real strong down
What
here.
actually happens is, and if I can explain the voting process, with the new electronic voting machines, the results are not allowed to be transmitted over the internet because there is a room for them to be tampered with or for some miscommunication. So there's actually sort of a mini recorder or chip in each of those machines, and they are dispatched in a secured bag back to the courthouse from the polling place. Now, what they do in the Hazleton area is they wait until all the Southern Luzerne County precincts have voted and all those are secured, and they bring them back together all at once to the courthouse. So somewhere down here at one of the coordinating centers, and I think it may even be Hazleton City Hall, they're waiting for all the ones from Southern Luzerne County to come in, then Election Bureau officials to actually drive them back to Wilkes-Barre, and then they're counted.
All right, Janine, you have some more results?
Sammy, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you for 1 second. The only other trend from the county, once again, Jackie Musto-Carroll, Stephanie Salavantis, it's still very close. With the latest numbers in, 29,700 votes counted. Looks like about a 3% differential there. Jackie's ahead, 15,497, 14,179 for Stephanie Salavantis. So that's within margin of error at this point. That's a close race.
Janine?
And we preach about going out to vote. Look at how close these races are. Your vote does count each and every time. And I'd like to get my age bracket out to vote. We have Cunningham.
Cunningham, we have, and as a matter of fact, I just lost it.
We have Gary Gregory, we have Jill Hawk as the winner, we have Ray Montoni, and we have Rose Hart. So again, you're looking at some of those incumbents. Again, it's interesting to see running on teams, the split there. Again, Gary Gregory coming in with 334. Jill Hawk is the top winner at 337. Ray Montoni at 303, and Rose Hart at 308. The numbers are very close, but those are the numbers reporting from Cunningham. And I believe we have Keith Bass on the phone with Nikki Kreis. Nikki, you are live on the air.
Hello?
Hi, is this Keith?
Yes.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, Keith. Congratulations. Dave Sosar here.
Hi, Dave. Thank you very much.
Keith, you were hands down the top vote getter tonight. Your feelings about the victory tonight, and where are your plans now? How are you going to start preparing for the next 4 years for Hazleton City Council?
I would just like to thank everyone who came out and voted tonight. I really appreciate everybody's faith in me to get the job done. And what my plans are is to start to get to work. And, now that all the campaigning is over, get into City Hall, look at everything, and start coming up with some plans to get more revenue and to do everything that we can to make this a better place to live.
Well, we look forward to working with you, to talking with you. I know that the budget will be coming on up in another few days. I'll give you an opportunity to start taking a look at that and start working with some of those numbers you were talking about. We wish you the best of luck in the preparation in the next 4 years.
Okay.
Hey, thank you, Dave. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for calling in. We're going to do this live, and CO's on line 20. Okay. Charlie, thanks for joining us here. You are live on Decision Day 2011. Congratulations.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Charlie, I said congratulations. You're with Janine and Dave here on Decision Day on Channel 13.
Hey, well, thanks for calling me.
Charlie, congratulations. I know you've served as the chief of police down there. You're now taking over a different kind of a position. Certainly, you bring a lot of experience and all that with you. Where do you go from here? What are you going to do?
Well, obviously, Butler Township's like a lot of places where, money is a big issue right now.
Right.
And I would like to see jobs come to Butler Township. We have a business park I want to get with the other supervisors and with the people from Can Do, and do whatever we have to do to invite a large business into Butler Township, because I feel that, earned income taxes, would be
right.
Plus the Butler Township. And Can Do has been doing such a good job in Hazel Township, and we really have to get them to put some effort into Butler Township.
Charlie, just one last thing real quick. How soon? I know there was talk that the winner was going to go right back on into the seat. Do you expect to do that shortly?
I'm not following exactly on that question.
What exactly do you mean?
In your victory tonight, there's the vacant seat that we're talking about. Will you be filling that vacant seat in the very near future, or are you going to wait and go through a learning process first?
Well, I think that it's a situation of it has to be done. So it's not really a question of would I like to wait. It has to be done immediately. So hopefully, tomorrow I understand there's a meeting, and if the supervisors pick me, then I'll be ready to go.
Terrific. Well, we wish you all the best of luck in the world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. And I believe we have Grace Kuzo on with us. Gracie.
Hi, Janine. It's Kristen. I'm getting her right now. She's meeting and greeting with all of her supporters here. 1 second, please. Here, Grace, real quick there on the phone meeting for you. Hello?
Hi, Grace. Dave Sosar here. How are you?
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
I'm great. I think we did great.
I think it was one of the closest races that I've seen in a long time, and I don't think you have anything to hang your head on that one.
Oh, I'm very proud. I think the people that helped me were great, and I think I did a good job. But I think it also said to Joe, we're not happy here. If it was that close, there's something not right, and maybe Joe will listen now.
Grace, you're on many boards. You are on many boards and committees. You hope to continue on that and continue to be a watchdog for the city of Hazleton?
I just intend to attend the council meetings and authority meetings. I have no problem. I've always been there, and I said before, win or lose, I'll still be there.
And we'll be looking forward to seeing you, Grace.
Okay, thank you very much.
You take care, and congratulations on tonight. You did an outstanding job.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Gracie. So there you have it again, Mayor Joe Iannuzzi keeping his place as the mayor of Hazleton, talking to Charlie Altmiller. I was going to ask Charlie, taking that risk of giving up his job with the police force, being the police chief, and really going and following this position with the supervisor. So hopefully he'll make the same kind of positive impact that he's made for Butler Township. And I believe we have some more results from the county.
I'm curious to see how the school board's going right now. Dave, do you have any results there on school board numbers, if you can compile them for us? Mike, your thoughts so far?
My thought, Sammy, with the mayoral race, and I said on the show last week, I thought it was going to be a much closer race than people thought. I really did. Number one, Democrats have a registration edge here in the city of Hazleton. Grace Kuzo was a very qualified candidate the Democrats put forth, as Janine said, and I said the other night in the show, I don't think in the last 20 years she's missed a city council meeting, a water authority meeting, sewer authority. She's just always there. She knew the issues. On the other hand, Joe Iannuzzi, with the power of the incumbency, Joe became very mayoral. I think in the 8 months that he was there, 9 months in the seat, he's done some nice things in terms of putting more police on the streets, hiring more inspectors, and again, it's nice to see a different direction. But I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by the closeness of the race. I'd like to also see that second council seat. I know that's still a horse race, I guess, between Mrs. Graham and Mrs. Mope. Again, Mrs. Graham obviously was on Joe Iannuzzi's ticket, so I think a friendly council is going to be very important to Joe to get any type of agenda passed during his mayoral stint. Okay,
we're going to go to break. We have some more surprises for you, folks. On the main set here is Kathy Baczynski. Very happy to have her. As you know, it's an honor to have her sit with us tonight. Of course, Professor Mike DeCosmo, Dr. Dave Sosar, and Janine. My daughter on the other set. We have some more surprises. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, folks. Decision Day 2011 brought to you by media partners, Standard Speaker and SSPTV.com and Local News 13. So, Dave, a recap so far, Mike, of the winners.
The recap, again, from the great township of Hazel Township, Bill Gallagher is being returned as supervisor. In the city of Hazleton, Joe Iannuzzi is going to assume a full 4-year term as mayor. Keith Bast, who is a double winner in the primary, is going to be high vote getter tonight. It's still too close to call. Right now, Jeannie Mope is ahead of Evelyn Green by under 100 votes, but we don't have the final numbers in that yet. So that's very interesting. The school board, it looks like it's still neck and neck between Mrs. Yannick and Rocco Formica for that 4th seat. So we're waiting on that. Some interesting results in the county starting to come in. It looks like the DA's race is within 2%. Jackie Musto-Carroll still ahead of Stephanie Salvantis, but a very, very close race.
Charlie Ottmiller is a supervisor in Butler Township. Sue Rossley, maintainer, she's the auditor, and we have Tammy Martin, who won in Freeland, and Cunningham Council. Quite interesting. You have Gary Gregory, Jill Hawk, and you have Raymond Montoni and Rose Hart, which is interesting for the split.
And what's interesting with that split, Sam, I think the writing candidates, Hawk and Gregory, were the 2 top vote getters.
They weren't writing. The writing candidates were Snyder,
I'm sorry, you're right.
Snyder and Joe Gallagher.
But they were on the ticket with the writing count.
Yeah.
And they were the 2 top vote getters, where the 2 incumbents just finished 3rd and 4th. So I'd like to see the numbers that the 2 writing candidates did get and how close that was.
Yes. Kathy, interesting so far?
Very interesting so far. I'm enjoying watching the county council races right now. As of right now, the top vote getter with about 15,000 votes is Jim Bobeck. Now, Jim Bobeck, if you're familiar with him, he has been a part of the home rule process from the word go, and he's actually steering the transition team to the new form of government. So perhaps rightly so. He should be the top vote getter, followed by Tim McGinley, and then Commissioner Steve Urban, also a man who his type of knowledge and experience in county government is going to be incredibly invaluable as part of that new commission, because you need some continuity with the past. It's going to be, his input will be essential for the transition itself, and no surprise there that he's one of the top vote getters. Plus, also switched parties in the spring to get there as well. So that was, it's all strategy.
We got some another surprise. Janine, what do you have?
We have West Hazelton in. Again, Tom Nemeth is declared the winner, and also Paul Plachukis for West Hazelton Council on both of those. Looking at the school board race, let me tell you, the trend is the same in West Hazelton as we have been seeing all night. The top vote getter is Robbie Wallace, and the bottom 2, what we're looking at, the race is between Yannick and again, we're looking at Formica. They are neck and neck with their numbers. Again, too close to call, but we are calling the council West Hazelton race Tom Nemeth, and also we have Paul Plachukis there in the borough of West Hazelton. We do have a candidate on with us now, and I believe we have Mrs. Mope. Let's see, Jean, can you hear us?
Yeah, it's Kristen right now. I'm going to give the phone to Jean Mope to talk a little bit about so far what it's looking like for her tonight. Hello?
Hi, Jean. How are you? Dave Sosar here.
Oh, hi, Dave. How are you?
Good, Jean. Jean, it's been really a race between you and Mrs. Graham so far. How do you feel? And we've only gotten about 9 wards so far. Let me ask you direct. Have you gotten better word than what we have so far? And where do you stand in the race at this point?
Well, so far it looks like I came in the winner above Mrs. Graham. We just got Holy Rosary in, and I think that was the last of the wards. But I don't want to make it official until somebody makes it official with me, David. You know how the numbers go.
And
Are you waiting on us, Jean?
Pardon me, I can't hear you.
Are you waiting on our official numbers?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to have them for you.
Jean, first of all, I want to congratulate you on a great race. Know that you put a lot into it at this point. So, we're going to check the numbers as close as we can. We know it's been close, but we know you've been up. So we'll keep on checking it, and we'll tell you as soon as we can.
Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You take care.
Bye-bye.
So again, looking at another close
This
race.
is so
Tonight
close,
is
so
just
close.
neck and neck with
and
these
again,
races.
we keep on saying it, but people who think that their vote does not count, you don't want to go out and vote. This is what makes the difference.
And it does matter who's in office.
does
you look
matter.
at these candidates; they have totally different platforms coming into this. You have these newcomers, or you're looking at the incumbents, and are you on the same plan as they're going? Are you looking for a new direction? And this can tell a difference in a lot of these communities that you're paying the taxes in, and you're going to be the one feeling it in your pocket.
Right.
We're going to go back for more county numbers.
Talking is the same thing, Mike and Kathy. We're talking about low voter turnout, which is sad because again, a lot of things could be changing, particularly with the school board in the city of Hazleton. It's just sad. It really is.
Yeah, it is, Sam. In this election, an historic election, I just expected in the weather today, Kathy. I mean, today's the day you want to be outside.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I think, some Americans have become jaded. And whether it's a presidential election or something as vital that touches your life every day as a school board election or your community council or supervisors, you got to get out there and vote. That's the only way you're going to bring about the change that you want.
And Kathy's talking about change. The Philadelphia Daily News did a great article yesterday, but they had a picture of all the protesters down there, the people who were sitting in, and they said, hey, if you want to change the system, tomorrow's election day. This is where you really can exercise your power, where you could exercise your right to choose. And again, to have these kind of turnouts when there's so many protests going on throughout the country now, not just locally, I mean, it saddens me.
Well, it doesn't mean that I don't want people to think that we're upset with who won. That's not the case at all. What we're saying is that more people have gone out. If the results will be the same, that's fine. But you can't sit there and complain about the school board if you don't vote. You can't sit there and complain about the city council or city government if you don't vote. The same thing with the council government. You have to vote. The judges, there's another interesting thing. But Kathy, you said something about the judges. I don't think there's one judge there that I would, that at least they're all qualified and they're respected.
And absolutely, and I know just about all of them personally, have worked with them either through reporting or in Luzerne County government. To a person, each will say the same thing about the other. They're well qualified, they're likable, they have the best interest of Luzerne County at heart, and they are beyond reproach, which is something that is so important to us in Luzerne County right now for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately.
Yes, folks,
Sandy, excuse me, if I could just give you an update, just came in, 78% of the precincts reporting now in Luzerne County. And what's very interesting, Dick Hughes is still running 6th, but who's running 5th is Lisa Gelb. Molly Hanlon is ahead of her. So it looks like Dick Hughes is closing the gap on Lisa Gelb, who's one of the double winners in the primary. And if this would happen, this would be the first time where a double winner in the primary was actually defeated in the general election. So this could, once again, but we're within, for a county judicial race, 500 votes, so every vote counts.
And the DA's race is amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely amazing. We're down to basically almost less than 1 percentage point difference between.
Oh my goodness. Folks, we'll be back. We're watching Decision Day 2011, brought to you by the Standard Speaker and SSP TV. For full details, stand to the Standard Speaker tomorrow. Congratulations to all the winners so far, but we have a couple more surprises for you right after this break.
Reporting that Mope has declared herself the winner in that city council race. We're going to get to her in a moment, but right now we have Rose Hart on the phone from Cunningham. And Rose, thanks for joining us here tonight.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Rose, again, Dave Sosar here. We want to congratulate you. First of all, 4th term as as the town councilwoman down in Cunningham. Number of different issues there, and interesting election as well with the split somewhat that occurred. Your views on how the race went and how you guys are going to all be able to work and what issues are going to come first and foremost. A lot to ask, but I know you can handle it.
Okay. All right. What I want to say is, well, you had a lot there on your plate there that you're asking.
Yeah.
So if we could do this one by one.
Well, let me take them one by one for you. First of all, how about the split that was occurring down in Cunningham? How are you guys going to be able to work together? Do you think that that'll all work on out?
Well, I hope so. I'm sure it will. I'm sure everyone is going to work this out. I mean, I don't think we should have too much difficulty.
Okay. What are some of the specific issues, first and foremost? I know just from the ads that were in the paper just the other day and all that you guys have a number of them on your plate down there at Cunningham. What are you guys going to start with, do you think?
Well, of course, we have in January. Of course, we're going to have to reorganize and make decisions accordingly. Okay.
Sure.
But we do have issues such as the authority, and I'm sure that'll be taken care of once January comes in, and we make the changes that are necessary in order to put it, hopefully that we put it back into what it should be as part of Cunningham. Because again, we want to think of Cunningham first. So that's one of the issues that we have.
Right, and and in speaking as somewhat of a water czar myself, control of that water authority, control of all your authorities become certainly one of the most important things that you can work on.
Right, exactly. It is a Cunningham. It belongs to the people of Cunningham here,
Right.
and that's what we want to stress, and that's what we've been trying to stress.
Well, I want to personally congratulate you, Rose. You've been in government for quite a long time, and you're doing a great job. Thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
So again, just to reiterate, that was Rose Hart. Again, this is going to be her 4th term starting in Cunningham, and we said it was a split vote there with the 4 that were running together, and also Jean Mope declaring, Kristen Bazinski reporting that she has now declared herself the winner in that city council
And
race.
that's going to change certainly the complexion of the city council quite a bit. With Jean Mope, not just as a Democrat, but certainly with a different platform than what Evelyn Graham had been suggesting was part of her platform. I think it begins to take the city in a little bit of a different direction. And now the question will be, again, a little bit of a different majority somewhat on the city council. How will Mayor Yannuzzi be able not only to handle a full 4-year term, but how will he deal with this new makeup within city council itself?
All right. We're going to go back over for some county numbers.
Speaking about the city election, it's interesting to see. Dave just made a good point. Is how will she be able to work for the betterment of the city? Okay, they all campaigned. They worked hard doing what they're doing. And Grace always said it the way it was. You never guess with Grace. She'll tell you exactly the way it is, and I applaud her for that. Okay, believe me. Mataszewski the same way. But I mean, now do we go in with an agenda? Or do we go in and say, okay, let's get our job done, or I'll get you now because you did this, okay? If we go back to this stuff, it's going backwards instead of going forwards.
Well, I think, Sam, 2 things here. First of all, I think Joe Yannuzzi's leadership skills are really going to be tested here, because it looks like the wild card here may be Keith Bast, because you're left with Jackie Mundy, a Democrat. Now you have Jeannie Mope, a Democrat. Keith Bast won on both parties. And of course, he wasn't picked up by the Republicans in the general, so he's really your independent thinker there. So now Keith Bast is going to be the swing vote on council, so I think it's going to be Joe's leadership skills to try and bring at least 3 votes to get his agenda passed. But with Mrs. Mope, I don't want to say this is one of the more incredible elections I've seen, but you have to remember, 5 months ago, the Democrats had no candidates at all for city council. Keith Bast won as a write-in in the primary. Jean Mope got enough votes as a candidate in the primary. And now tonight, to emerge victorious, really, you had 2 write-in candidates from the Democratic primary to win tonight. A little bit historic in Hazleton, first time it's ever happened.
Kathy, it always happens in Lower Luzerne County.
This is what I understand, but it shows you what people can do when they actually get out and get to work. And we've talked about this before. You can. I am an advocate of social media, absolutely, but I'm sure what these people did was they got out there one-on-one, rang the doorbells, met people in the street, went to the senior citizen centers, went to the community centers, and I think in this day and age, you've got to embrace the new technology, but you've got to keep a little of the old-fashioned technique of actually getting your message across directly. And I'll bet this is what these candidates did.
Well, I'm hoping that the election's over. They campaigned. I got to say, some people did a clean campaign. Some people wanted to go a different way. All right. But now that's all over with, it's important. We have someone on the phone, Janine?
Yes, we do. And Jamie Dixon is on the phone. We have a new magisterial judge. And Jamie, thanks for joining us. Congratulations. I'm sure this time around it was a little bit easier to take in those numbers for you.
Yes, it was, Janine, and thank you.
Hi, Jamie. Dave Sosar here. Congratulations as well. You've been involved in police work for so long. You certainly not a newcomer when it comes to the law and all that. Your perspective on how you're going to view and what you see as taking over the magisterial duties come this January.
Thanks again, Doc. First of all, I'd like to thank Tom Sharkey. He's done a great job over the last 18 years for the township as magisterial district judge. I'd like to thank anyone who came out and supported me today. I'm truly humbled by all the support in the township. I couldn't believe the numbers. Out of 1,459 votes, I received 1,449. Getting to your question, I can't wait to take over and start my new position. I have a lot of changes that I'd like to make, and obviously we'll treat everyone fair and impartially and do the right thing to make the community a safer place.
Well, Jamie, we want to congratulate you. As an ex-student, one of my first students at Hazelton Area High School.
You're aging yourself.
I know I'm aging him too. But I'm tremendously proud of you. I know you're going to do a great job.
Congratulations, Jamie.
Thanks, Doc. Thanks.
And I believe we have Tony Bonomo is on with us now. And we are live. I believe we have Tony Bonomo on with us now.
Hello.
Hello, Tony. Can you hear us?
Tony? Tony? I guess. Hi, Tony. This is Dave Sosar. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thanks the voters of the area for having their trust in me for another 4 years.
Well, you know what? We again, and I know you've done a great job up to this point. What do you see in the future? Where do you go from here as far as the school board is concerned?
All right, we're having a little bit of trouble with him, but we are waiting again for Robbie Wallace is going to be giving us a phone call. I'm assuming that he is doing well, and as we've been reporting, he is the top vote getter tonight.
Top vote getter in almost every single ward.
Again, and we talked about this pre the election coverage at 8 o'clock, talking about the races and talking about looking at voting for the candidate that is pro-student or looking at the candidate that is pro the taxpayer, and that is the gap that we have to close. I believe we have someone coming on the phone, but we're going to wait a little bit for that. So we're waiting on Bobby Wallace to call us.
Yes.
And we are declaring winner in Klein Township for supervisor for the 6-year term. We're declaring Nick Sanko, the Republican candidate, as the winner of the Klein Township supervisor position. Now I'm going to wait and see if we have one more person on the phone. This is, okay, now we have, hello?
Hi, how you doing, Janine?
Good, how are you, sir? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hi, Robbie. Congratulations.
Thanks, Doc. I learned everything from you, buddy.
No, you didn't. I'm not going to take credit for that, but I know you're going to do a fantastic job on the school board. Everything that you've ever said in any of the debates, in any of the interviews, you really are a concerned individual with the education of the students of this area, and for that I applaud you.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that, Doc. I said, hopefully what's going to happen now is whoever the 9 of us are going to be, we're going to be able to sit down and do what we think is best for the kids, because that's why we're all here in the first place, and come up with some ideas and have a common vision and all work together.
Now, do you think you're going to have a different perspective? You're going from the classroom and dealing hands-on with the students to dealing with the taxpayers and dealing with a lot of different issues when it comes to dealing with a district of our size?
Oh, Janine, I got an entirely different perspective to this whole campaign. Somebody should write a book going through this process. But I think what takes place now is being a classroom teacher was just dealing with one aspect of what takes place in our school district. What we're going to have to do now is, budgets are going to be coming into play that we have to take a look at. We have a great business department that handles that. We have a superintendent search going on. Hopefully, we're going to have a magnet school coming into play. So there's a lot of things that are going to be on the plate, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting started and hopefully making some type of a difference.
Before we let you go, just to clarify, you're looking to do good for the taxpayers as well as the students.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have a district that consists of not just the students and the teachers and the administrators, but the taxpayers and the general public. And you have to be accountable to everybody, not just a select group. And hopefully we're going to be able to do that.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Roland.
Okay.
Thanks, Doc.
I believe we have Evelyn Graham on with us. Evelyn?
Hi, it's Nikki. I'm handing the phone to Evelyn right now.
Okay, thank you. Nikki Price reporting. They're all out there in the field.
It's true. Jimmy, you want to go outside? Let's go outside. I can't hear. What?
Hello, Evelyn.
We're going to walk outside. I'll have Evelyn in a minute, okay? She can't hear the phone.
Okay, so again, we are reporting that, just to reiterate while we're getting Evelyn on the phone, that Jean Mope has declared herself one of the winners for the council race, along with Mr. Bass. So that will leave us with new council working with the mayor, Joe Yanuzzi, here in the city of Hazleton. Evelyn, are you with us?
Evelyn is right here. Okay, here you go. There you go, Evelyn. Hello.
Hello, Evelyn. Dave Sosar here.
Hi, Dave.
I know that you ran a good race, a tough race. I know that unfortunately it didn't work on out tonight. Any thoughts about what may have happened and what turned things around?
No, I don't have any idea.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that things worked on out as the way that they did. I know you've got a few months left. Anything special that you want to see done in the last few months of your time on City Council?
No, I will just continue to push for those things that I've been working on.
And Evelyn, I'd like to say that, you know, the area, it's no secret how much you have done for this area and supported community projects and also all the work and governmental work you've done for the city of Hazleton. Is that something you still will continue to do, even though you will not be sitting on the council seat?
Just a moment.
So again, we had Evelyn Graham on the phone. I believe we either got disconnected or she's going to call us back.
Yeah.
So again, Evelyn Graham calling in from the city of Hazleton. She was on, I believe this was a couple terms on city
she had
council.
served back in the early 1990s, came back in the late 1990s and in the 2000s, has served very, very diligently, has been a very outspoken fighter on City Council for an awful lot of issues, and I think is to be commended for the work that she's accomplished in the years that she served.
And I'm sure this is not the end for Evelyn Graham. She's always done so much for the community, and I definitely commend her for all the work she has done, not only for Hazleton, but for the surrounding areas. Let's go to county numbers.
Interesting, again, some of the numbers coming in with Evelyn. Jean Mope, she's going to do a fine job. We have an interesting concept here in the city. The downtown, the crime, everything that has to be working. We need cooperation now to move forward. Kathy, your perspective so far, being the first time coming in here and on local news station, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm having a blast.
Oh, good.
And thanks
I'm
for
sorry you
inviting
have
me.
to sit next to the Cosmo.
Nope, I'm enjoying sitting next to him immensely. I want to take 2 seconds to compliment not the team in the studio, but the team that's out there in the field.
Yeah.
Having worked in local news and knowing how limited, especially in television news, it is to get people to live shots and get them on the air quickly. You can only get a handful of people. There's been a constant rotation here tonight of folks on the phone, all the major players, all the winning candidates, and I really have to applaud the News 13 reporting team that's out there in the field. I'm really impressed by that, and I'm just incredible by the amount of the volume of the candidates that we've been able to get on here tonight. It's good for them
Even
out
despite
there
the
in
fact we have Sosar and the Cosmo on the set.
well,
right?
you know, they're a draw. You know, that people call in because they hear they're going to be here.
And people even admitted that Sosar was their teacher on top of it. I mean, God, despite that, they're winning.
At the end, things, all politics is local. Just never forget that.
Exactly, exactly. You know, your experience, in politics, and I remember Ethel Price when she's saying in politics it's whose SOB you are, okay? And you know, when you think of it, okay, but now, you know, you fight the fight, and after the fight, I've said this a number of times, let's move forward now, okay? Let's bury the hatches. I was talking to a school board member today who won, and he said, we're gonna get the board members together, just together, and let's lay the cards on the table, let's do what's right. Let's not worry about a majority, a minority thing. I know, Mike, you're from the old school to a degree, okay, and sometimes it's hard for you to understand that. As a board chairman, I realized the majority was important, but in the same token, we were all individuals. And I think that old school stuff has to go away, Mike.
Oh, I think it does, Sammy, especially when we come to educational issues. And right now with the budget crises everyone's facing, you know, I mean, the politics, I mean, where I'm old school, and Kathy alluded to it before, Sammy, I'm still a flesh pusher. You know, when I campaign, I still do the door-to-door. I still go shake people's hands, you know, and I like the social media, but I think that eye-to-eye contact is more important
Very
than anything.
important.
And I think, really, especially on a local level, like Kathy said, all politics is local. People need to know who their local representatives are. And I think they need to have someone there who's listening. And again, does that sway my opinion? Like people coming into the tax office and telling me things, projects that should be started in Hazel Township? Absolutely. I'll get on the phone and pick up and call our call our township supervisor and say, hey, listen, I've had complaints about sewer drainage, or I've had complaints about a road. And to an extent, that's old-time politics, but I still feel, you know, that's how you get things done at the local level.
Well, we have the council, Cunningham Council, Gary Gregory, Jill Hawk. We have Raymond Montoni and Rose Hart. Hazelton Race, Mayor Yannuzzi won. Gene Mope won. Keith Bast won. In the race for Freeland, we have, Hazel Township, we have Gallagher who won. And in the West Hazelton, we have Tom Nemeth and Paul Plantukis. Charlie Ottmiller in Butler Township, we have Sue Rossai staying on as incumbent. Tammy Martin. Freeland mayor, and of course the judge race, the county race. Looks like, Klein Township Supervisor Nick Sanko has won with other results coming in. Janine, you have somebody there?
Breaking news coming into the studio, not concerning the election, but in news coverage. And Kristen Bazinski is reporting that there are shots fired, confirmed shots fired, near the Humboldt Industrial Park. She's on her way to 889 Can-Do Expressway. Concerns of someone being held at gunpoint. That is unconfirmed. Confirmed is that gunshots were fired near the Humboldt Industrial Park at 889 Can-Do Expressway. We do have a crew there on the scene. That's a little bit of breaking news coming out of the city of Hazelton. So we do have a crew on the way. We are working on some more numbers, crunching those numbers together for the Hazelton Area School Board. Again, too close to call. We're waiting on some numbers from McAdoo. Schuylkill County is coming aboard.
And I've got some numbers for Beaver Meadows here. Alfred Mitchko garnered 147 votes in the Beaver Meadows Council race. Anthony Rusnock got 162. Hello. James G. Leonard, 77. Richard W. Donald got 101, and Martha Stieber, 97. So we thought we'd get those results passed on to you as well.
Again, if we want to rehash some of these numbers that we do have in, looking at West Hazelton, Paul Platukis for council. We have Tom Nemeth for council. We're looking at the races for, let's see here, excuse me, I look through these numbers. In Hazel Township, Bill Gallagher, we declared him the winner early on as supervisor. The magisterial district judge, again, Jamie Dixon. West Hazelton Council, Tom Nemeth and Robert Sanzi. Butler Township Supervisor, Charlie Altmiller, declaring him the winner, and Sue Rossai. Some of those other names, Freeland Mayor, Tammy Martin will have her first official term beginning, and also Barbara Tolanowski. It was close between her and Joanne Yurichek. Am I saying that right? Yurichek? There are only 6 votes behind for absentee ballots. John Potosky, the incumbent, John Buda. Again, that's for Freeland Council that we're talking about here. We're looking at numbers for Luzerne County Council. Those numbers, again, coming in, I believe we have about 70% of Luzerne County reporting. We're going to go back and check out those numbers.
Interesting thing, Judge Stevens just called and is watching and said that, you know, we're looking at that almost a very close race with the DA. I mean, there could be an upset brewing here.
And that upset, if it's going to take place, has begun. Right now, Stephanie Salavantis has taken the lead in the race, and we're with 93% of the precincts reporting. The difference is she carries about 50.13% of the vote. Jackie Musto-Carroll right now 49.79%. So the difference is minuscule at this point.
You see a recount coming here?
There better be, seriously.
Yeah.
If I'm Jackie Musto-Carroll, I'm demanding one. But we can't call the race yet because we're not 100%.
How many precincts have to come in yet?
Well, no, we're 93%. I think we're at about 170 some of 189, so just really a handful.
So it looks like the
176 of 189, so 13 more precincts to
so
go.
it looks like people still thought that there was something wrong, where they didn't give the incumbent person who's been there for so many years, with her reputation, feeling that there was something wrong. Okay.
I still say that. There are a number of factors going on here, and not to defend Jackie Musto-Carroll, she was not the sitting district attorney when all of everything was cooking in Luzerne County government. Now Judge Dave Lupus was the district attorney at that. She was first assistant district attorney. But the county is obviously still in the process. That investigation has not ended. We still are hurting for the breach of trust that we've suffered in Luzerne County. And as I said before, Stephanie Salavantis struck a chord in the voters in this county with the negative ads. She had no place to go. She had no record to run on. She had to run a negative campaign against Jackie Musto-Carroll. And as I said earlier this evening as well, I think DA Musto-Carroll perhaps did not as aggressively defend her record and strike out against that negative advertising as she maybe could have. And that may bring us to where we are right now.
Your response, Mike.
I agree with everything Kathy just said. Again, what we're seeing in the county tonight, once again, a county it's almost 2-to-1 Democrat to Republican. You're looking at potentially Republican DA candidates. There was a lot of vote splitting. Right now, with about 93% of the precincts, our own Rick Morelli is the top vote getter for the county council. So again, he's moved into the #1 position. So after that, I think he's followed by 6 Democrats. But it looks like the Hazleton vote is starting to come in because Elaine Madden Curry, who's running about 14th or 15th, now looks like jumped up into the 11th position. So there's some of the lower Luzerne County vote coming in. And that being the case, it looks like a lot of people down here, Kathy, probably voted for Salavantis because up to this point, Jackie Musto was ahead. But again, when this last round of votes came in, this last 5%, which appears to be mostly the first district vote, Jackie Musto-Carroll dropped back.
All right, folks, you're watching Decision Day 2011 here on SSP TV with our media sponsors, the media partners, the Standard Speaker. Full results tomorrow. We'll be taking a break. We have some more people coming on the phone, plus we're going to fill you in on what's happening with those shots that happened up there in Humboldt. Stay with us.
Welcome to Decision Day 2011. We have Dr. Bob Childs on with us. Again, he is looking at the second position with Robbie Wallace taking first position so far, and third position for Dr. Bob Childs. Thanks, Mike. And we have Dr. Bob on with us right now. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that, Jennifer.
Dr. Childs, we want to congratulate you at this point for running a great race. Certainly the votes indicate people's pleasure with you and want to see you continue serving on the board. One of the things right now, and maybe you'd like to comment on a little bit, one of the questions that I know is on your mind is how is your team member, Marfi Yannick Degenhart, doing, and at present time with about, I think it's 82%, I'm sorry, of the vote in. She's about 150 votes behind. So I got to be honest with you, it looks like this is going to be another Schuylkill County. Let's wait to find out what's going to happen. Your thoughts?
Marfi would be an excellent addition to the school board. She's smart, she is well trained, and she would represent the taxpayers on the one hand and education well on the other hand. So I'm hoping that she will win the seat. Again, Obviously, she's my teammate. We've worked together very well over the last several months, and I certainly admire what she's done and how she's done it. And I would hope that the electorate eventually, ultimately, will see that and actually end up with voting for her in the final decision.
Dr. Bob, in my experience with covering the race for a school board, it seems that every team you bring on with you seems to find success, and that just goes to show how much following you have and support here from the voters of Luzerne County.
Well,
and of the district.
It's very rewarding to know that the people of Luzerne County have followed my career and have for the large part given their approval. I think one of the things that certainly becomes more and more apparent the longer you're on the board is that you really cannot accomplish a lot as an individual, though. So for someone to come up to me and say to me, we think you're doing a good job, that's very comforting to me, but it's not, in the long run, nearly so important as having 5 votes on the board to get something done that will benefit the students in particular, the teachers second, and the taxpayers third.
Congratulations again. We'll look for your partner.
Congratulations, Doug.
We're hoping that Brian, I understand, came in, but the consensus to Martha, and we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Well, we wish you well. We'll be looking forward, and as soon as we can get these results, again, it'll be a late night in Schuylkill County with the Scantron machines, but we'll look forward to it. I know you will too. You take care.
Very much.
Thank you. And I believe we have Ray Montoni on with us from the Borough of Cunningham. Thanks for joining us, Ray.
Thank you.
Ray, congratulations. We wish you well, and we congratulate you on your victory.
Thank you. I want to first of all thank the citizens and voters of Cunningham for their continued support and trust in me, and of course their continued support and trust in my running mate Rose Hart. I do look forward to serving the citizens of Cunningham and continuing the agenda that we set forth, for Cunningham first. And like I said, that's where I stand right now in terms of my continued work with the people of Cunningham.
Well, Mr. Martoni, one of the things we tend to forget about sometime is that in smaller communities like yours that the issues aren't serious problems, but they are. You guys have still budgetary problems. You've got all the problems that everybody else has, and they're just as serious. And we know that you guys are going to put together a very effective, I'm sure, plan to try to address them.
Yes, we are. And we have to look at the fact that we have a police department and our streets department, that our pensions for the uniform and non-uniform employees is well secured and financed. And that puts us in a unique position compared to other smaller communities.
Well, we wish you well, sir. Congratulations again from all of us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Before we go back to county numbers, let's just go over that breaking news again. Right around 9:30 today, Kristen Bazinski reporting that shots were fired in the area of 924. All police are at the scene along 924. There are ambulances called to the scene. Lots of cops in that area right now. We hope to get some pictures back to you. One person reportedly in custody. That is unconfirmed, but there is confirmed that shots were fired in the area of 924. Unconfirmed right now if anyone was injured. Unconfirmed, we think there is someone in custody, but we're waiting on confirmation from the police department. That happened around 9:30. Let's go to county numbers.
Having an interesting evening, Kathy. You see, we bring you on board and everything's going crazy.
Everything
you talk about, the different precincts and the county numbers. What do the county numbers look like? It looks like Rick is still maintaining the lead.
Yeah, Rick's running 1-2.
We're sort of at the tail end. We're in the home stretch right now. We've got about 93% of the precincts in at this point. And a lot of those are places like Cunningham Township, Nescopeck Borough, places like that generally take a little bit longer to to get in, but we should have a final tally shortly. But you could definitely see that pop when Lower Luzerne County was added into the mix, because that's when Rick Morelli head to the #1 spot.
We wanted to call him and say he's like number 16th or something like that.
Oh, don't
I
do
guess
that
we can't
to
do that.
him. That wouldn't be nice.
No, that wouldn't be nice. Excuse me.
#1, okay.
The DA's race, still close?
DA's race too close to call, but right now it looks like the incumbent DA is down by about 150 votes. Jackie Musto.
This is amazing.
Yeah, Jackie Musto Carroll is down by less than 0.5%, but she still is behind to Stephanie Salavanis.
How was it, Kathy, when you were there and the elections were coming in? Was it the same type of situation with the flow with Lower Luzerne?
There's a definite ebb and flow. Around 9:20, you know when you see a movie about the space exploration and when the capsule's coming back into the gravity field, and there is a blackout for about 3 minutes. There's generally about 9:15, about a 20-minute blackout where nothing happens, waiting for the Southern Luzerne County votes to come in. They came in, I think, about 9:37. It looks like. So that was pretty much on target. But it's always an exciting environment.
We have a celebrity on the phone.
Oh, we have
Rick
our
Morelli
buddy
on the phone. Okay,
Ricky Morelli on the phone. Congratulations! Are you going to bring some sunshine home with you from Florida?
I certainly would like to. Thank you so much. Just overwhelmed. I'm lost for words, to be honest with you.
You're lost for words. Well, we know one thing. You, in all seriousness, I think you worked a hard campaign. You hustled. You were there from the beginning before there was even a county council to form. You're on the commission. You're well knowledged, and to come in first place out of so many candidates on the ballot for this position is certainly to be commended.
Well, I have to thank the voters for their confidence in me, and it just inspires me to work even harder. As you know, for the last two and a half years, I put a lot into this home rule charter, and even the people in Lower Luzerne County didn't support it that much. But I believe that it's going to be better for the long run. And again, people in Lower Luzerne County really wanted representation, and I fought for the districts. They didn't go through, but we got representation, and I think it's fair to say that we got 2 people from Lower Luzerne County. Myself, and it looks like Elaine Curry will be there in the top 11 spots. And, I'm just, and what got me to the top are definitely, well, a lot of people throughout the whole county, but a lot of the people here in Lower Luzerne County. And I just have to say thank you to the voters for their confidence again in me.
Well, Rick, Dave Sosar here. Congratulations. You've got a tremendous task ahead of you. Again, you guys are going to set the watermark for what other councils are going to have to follow afterwards. You guys are going to be selecting that county manager. No easy task, but you know what? As hard as you've worked on this campaign, I think you will be expected to, and I know you will, put that kind of effort into the challenges ahead.
Yeah, and there's no question on my end, and although the numbers aren't finished, and we're not sure what who the entire 11 are, but looking at the names, I am pleased with the other people who are there. The people who I believe are in the top 11 have experience, have the devotion to really work hard and to do what's right. And there's a lot of work here. There's no question. I mean, there's a huge task ahead of us. But I do believe that there's a brighter side to this, and it's going to take time. But I think that just hopefully we can turn the chapter here, put the corruption behind us, stop focusing on the negatives, and start really focusing on rebuilding our county.
Well, you're definitely making history with this election. So again, Rick, congratulations. I'm sure we'll be talking about this race again on Inside Scoop sometime very soon.
Thank you again, Janine, and thank you to all of you. And again, once again, thank you to all the voters for supporting me and having confidence in me.
All right, Rick, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, looking at Rick's numbers and looking at the county numbers, we're looking at 2 people from Lower Luzerne County getting 2 of those 11 seats.
And I think that was pretty much to be expected. I think that you probably could have anticipated probably not much more than that with the number of votes that are out there and the way that everything was going to break on out. Certainly there were individuals that might very well have wanted to, because of where they were located, known much larger in a Wilkes-Barre, much larger in a Back Mountain. The people I think that you're finding that really are winning besides the Rick Morelli are the ones that did their homework, went out there, made sure they got known in the Back Mountain, in Wilkes-Barre, in Mountaintop, in Hazleton, and I think it shows tonight. And I think with that kind of work effort, I think Luzerne County might very well be in some good hands.
All right, and I believe we're still waiting on the district attorney's race. Again, neck and neck. Very interesting tonight.
Janine, and we're looking here at some surprising numbers, but again, the lower the voter turnout low, Kathy, and Mike. We would hope that there would have been a lot more going out to vote. Maybe some things would have changed, but we have to live what we lived. Kathy, so far, what are we looking at?
With regard to the DA's race, or at this point, and we're still on hold. We're waiting for those last precincts to trickle in, and Stephanie Salavant is still leading by a very, very slight margin.
So I said something before. I said there may be a recount, and what was your reaction?
Oh, if I'm Jackie Musto Carroll and this is the way it plays out, I'm demanding a recount.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Being it so close.
Absolutely.
When do you think a recall would not be warranted?
I think you would have to. There would have to be a significant margin, and I'm not just talking about 100 or 200 votes. You know, if Salavantis were to pull away, and I don't know if that's possible at this point to that extent with the few precincts actually remaining, only about 13 precincts yet to be tallied. But if she had pulled away significantly, then you'd say, all right, it's a clean win. But anything, I'd say under 200 votes, definitely, I'd look for a recount.
So assuming Stephanie wins as DA, what do you think happens in that DA's office, bringing a person in who has no experience as far as the DA is concerned?
I have no idea.
You know? Mike, what would be your reaction?
Well, my hope and prayers would be she'd surround herself with real good people, because again, that office is just too important. I think there's a lot of people there, Sammy, who are currently there who could do a great job, but I just hope it's not a clean sweep, because I guess she has the authority. They're not unionized employees.
They're most of them are at will. The investigators, I believe, are unionized, but the assistant district attorneys themselves are definitely. Here we go.
Speaking of Stephanie, we have her on the phone. Go ahead.
Yes. You are live on the air here on News 13. How are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
We're good. We're reporting these numbers and looking how close this race is. I'm sure you're keeping track of numbers as well?
Yes, it's very close.
Okay, what are your thoughts as a newcomer into district attorney and running for office?
Oh, I have to say this was an amazing race. Going out and meeting everybody in the community and seeing that so many people came out and supported me, no matter what it comes down to, there was so much support, and for the people to believe in me so much, it's been amazing.
Stephanie, hi, this is Dave Sosar. This is an extremely close race yet. We wish you well, certainly in this evening of nail biting and everything else that goes through a candidate's mind at this point. If the trend continues like it does, and you do gain the DA's position, do you see any particular major changes that you want to make right at the beginning of maybe being able to take over if that continues to be the trend?
I have been thinking about this, and I've said during many interviews that I would like to specialize the office and use the experienced assistant district attorneys that we have, the wonderful prosecutors in the office, and use their abilities more efficiently. I want to specialize the office. So that is one area that I'd like to focus on and actually have more of a presence in southern Luzerne County. So those are areas that I'd like to jump into and see what I could do.
Stephanie, from the beginning of your campaign and even from your announcement, there were talks of some negative advertising on your end on the qualifications of the current district attorney. My question is twofold. Do you think these negative campaigns have helped you in this election as a first-time runner? And second, I just lost my train of thought. Do you think these negative campaigns have helped you? And the second is you ran on your work ethic and how much you've done in working in different areas, if you can respond on that.
Honestly, everybody has been saying that I've been going negative, and it is sort of saying, yes, it's sort of negative, but it was me presenting the facts, and I think people were actually listening to what I had to say and realizing that our county needs a change, that there has been too much that has gone on, and people that need to be accounted for, their performances need to be accounted for, and what has occurred in the courthouse, in the court system, people are sick and tired of it. And I think they have listened to what they had to say, and they went out and said, we support you. And it showed with all these votes that have been coming in, and hopefully soon, let's hope that I will be victorious.
And do you think also with the timing of the Powell and the corruption here, more light to that has also helped you in the direction of how the voters have spoken today, as though the race is so close?
Yes, it probably has helped me, because it shows that people just want to get the old out, new in. They want a fresh perspective, and they just, it's time for a fresh face, and I think it has helped me.
Well, thank you so much, and we will be looking at the race. Dave, did you have anything in closing?
Just one last thing, Stephanie. With when we're talking about the new government, the DA continues to be elected, as will the controller. But you're going to be dealing with a new form of government as well, with the council, and certainly, especially with the county manager, and that's going to have to deal with budgets and so forth as well. So you really may very well be coming in on a ground floor as a learning process along with that. Any thoughts?
And Stephanie, I just want to be the first here in News 13 to tell you that you have confirmed one with all of the 189 out of 189 precincts reporting. They are showing you Luzerne County as the upset winner for district attorney. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, that brings on all new questions here for us to ask you. So we can't let you go now that we have the winner on the phone.
Well, thank you. It's wonderful to hear, and thank you for letting me know.
You have run a hard campaign, and I know you've been hustling, just dealing with the marketing end and seeing how you have marketed yourself in TV, radio, print, door-to-door, any way you were able to get your message out there. You really did a nice job, and I know you invested a big chunk of change into your campaign, but it's certainly paid off for you. What do you hope to do now that you're elected?
At this point, honestly, try to restore integrity to the court system and try to work with everybody. Like you said, there's a new form of government coming in, and just having everybody work together and see what we could do to better our community.
Well, with all these races, the voters have certainly spoken tonight that they are not ready to give up on new change, and they are still fed up with what is going on in the county over the last couple of years. We're certainly making some historical decisions here tonight.
There seems to be a brand new movement of new blood into a lot of offices of Luzerne County, Stephanie, and you're one of them today, and we wish you all the luck in the world and all of our support at this point to try to make this the best that we can make it.
And Stephanie, we'll be in touch. We'll absolutely be having you on one of our programs. Thank you so much.
That would be wonderful.
All right, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Again, an upset tonight. Stephanie Salavantis becoming the new district attorney with all of the precincts reporting, according to Kathy Baczynski, 189 out of 189 in Luzerne County. We have a new district attorney in Luzerne County, again showing that your vote does count, so 30% people come out to vote. We have a new district attorney that's going to be working with a new form of government with Luzerne County Council. Yeah. What a night tonight.
And that made my comment on the base just coming on out right down the old Susquehanna, so to speak, I guess.
I'd like to get Kathy's take on this.
I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. What do you say? Tell him I can't see.
The conventional wisdom would not be to vote against a sitting district attorney with decades of experience. However, coming back to the campaign, coming back to the nerve that obviously Stephanie Salavantis hit within the Luzerne County community, it was all about how the voters were feeling when they walked into to that machine today, and obviously.
The question is, how much are emotions playing with the voters today versus logic? And I'm just saying, do people go and say, I don't care, that's it, okay? I don't care, that's it, okay? Or do they say, look, I think Stephanie, regardless of the fact that she's young and she has not, but I think she'll do a great job, okay? Are they looking at two areas here? I'm hoping they would look and say, look, we checked her credentials, even though she's young and she doesn't have experience, she would be a good DA, okay? Or I'm fed up, I don't care who runs, even if Sam Lassant runs, I'm voting for against something.
Well, I was impressed by Stephanie Salavanta's positive campaigning, where she portrayed herself as a very hardworking person and listed her accomplishments, and she seemed like someone with a good head on her shoulders, but someone who was rather new out of law school. I really think that, going back to this touching of a nerve, and this is just my opinion, I think Jackie Musto Carroll was associated with perhaps one of the last vestiges of that regime that was there when the corruption issue, arose. I look at the rest of the elections tonight, and they're very symbolic. You have a slate of 6 brand new judges ascending to the Court of Common Pleas in Luzerne County. You have a vast change in the way Luzerne County does government. And had this corruption scandal not evolved, I think we would still have a 3-commissioner form of government. There's no question that spurred the Home Rule Initiative. It was put on the ballot in 2003, and it lost handily at that point. This was a time for change. You have this new county council going in. And very importantly, bringing the voice of Southern Luzerne County into that 11-person council, and I think in that spirit of change, voters probably said, well, they connected, they identified Stephanie in her negative ads. I said connected, that chord struck some chord in the voters out there, and they said, well, let's make this a sweep, and went for someone with a lot of promise, but not a lot of experience.
Mike?
Yeah, I hate to keep saying I agree with everything Kathy's saying, but I do. But the one other thing I think in this race that played such a big negative to Jackie Musto Carroll is that name Musto. I think that name Musto really carried her a lot in her political career, because the name Musto was really second to none in the county. But again, and Stephanie played that up in her ads, even though Ray Musto up to this point has been convicted of nothing and he wasn't part of the courthouse corruption, Ray Musto has been indicted. So up to this point, that name Musto and being associated, and I believe Jackie on your show said that I love my uncle dearly, but he needs to have his day in court. Not that she was disassociating herself from the senator, but probably the most popular vote getter in Luzerne County, maybe in the last 2 decades. Absolutely. And this election, I think that hurt her.
Well, folks, you're watching Decision Day 2011 here on SSP TV, along with our media partners, the Standard Speaker. A lot to read about tomorrow, and the Standard Speaker will be back right after this with an update on what's happening with those shots that were fired in Humboldt. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back to Decision Day 2011. What a night it has been with these results, neck-and-neck races, upsets going on. We have Brian Early, he's the Hazleton Area School Board member on the phone. Brian, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I believe we have all of the numbers in for all counties for the Hazleton Area School District, and we are going to declare Marfi Yannick the winner and final winner for the school board race.
Yeah, we have part of Carbon County with Beaver Meadows in there, Brian. With your help, we got Klein and Township in McAdoo, and there just aren't enough votes other places. Write-ins, I don't know how many write-ins there were, but I think usually write-ins tend to distribute themselves pretty evenly. So congratulations to you tonight, and congratulations to your entire team as victors.
Well, I appreciate the confidence that the voters have placed in the whole process. Where I was at the polls today, the turnout was high, which is a good thing when people get out and voice their opinion and make their thoughts known. But I don't look at this from this point forward as our team. I was talking to different people at the polls today, and they said, what if your team wins? And my first comment was that we're a Board of Education of 9 members, and we need to stop with the 5 to 4. I saw what happened 2 years ago where there was 4 of us that were taken off of every committee and not given any committee assignments. And I can almost guarantee it that will not happen this time. We're a Board of Education. I've spoken with Mr. Wallace, Mr. Mahalik, at length, and all of us agree that whatever the outcome of this election is, that we need to work together as a board, 9 members, and move this district forward. We have too many pressing issues, that need to be addressed, and to go back to the days of, fighting and arguing and, 5-4 votes on this and 5-4 votes on that, hopefully that's going to come to a close.
And speaking as one person, but I think representative of the entire district, Brian, we're thrilled to be able to hear that because literally speaking, there are lots of important issues right now. I think it's time really to get a chance to focus on the education of our children, regardless of whatever else there may be disagreements on, to enhance their education and bring it up to the excellence that we know Hazleton has. Your budget and your buildings and all that, you've certainly got enough challenges.
Yes, and one of the things that Dr. Childs and I had talked about doing is even before the reorganization meeting is we want to start putting together teams within the district, and that will include teachers. I know we were painted as the anti-teacher team, but we want to bring the teachers into the fold from day one. We're going to have, a lot of issues that, with the magnet school. If we're going to bring that school online, we need to have all of the parties behind it. We're going to have contracts that are going to be coming up. That we want to sit down and have discussions now, so that we can start trying to pave the way to move this district forward so that it's not always a contentious issue when it comes up. We want open dialogue with, all of the stakeholders here, the parents, the teachers, our staff, and our students. We want to know, what the community's looking for, from our schools, and we want everybody to be involved in that process.
Well, again, congratulations. It was a year to remember with all the major decisions being made and still some of those to be made with superintendent and looking at these building projects. But again, the voters have spoken. Obviously, they have the trust in you and in your team, Brian, so congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you.
I believe we have Nikki Kreiz on the phone with some winners. We didn't forget about Schuylkill County. We have McAdoo numbers. Nikki, are you there?
Hi, Janine. We're here at McAdoo. We're talking to Mary LaBert, Councilwoman, and she is declared a winner. So we're going to push you on with Mary. I hope I'm declared a winner. Hello.
Hi, Mary. Congratulations.
Hi, how are you?
We're good tonight. How are you?
Oh, we're better now that the election is over.
All right.
Mary, congratulations.
This is strictly unofficial.
Oh, and we understand
Well,
that. We appreciate that.
We have the official numbers for McAdoo reporting at you having the top vote getter of 352, with William Slavic 310, looking at Marion DeBalco 292, and John Perhonich at 287. That's McAdoo in the first. And I believe, are we getting...
What we're concerned about is there's 26 absentees in one precinct and 28 in another precinct that we don't think are included in those figures.
Okay.
When we look at McAdoo and what are the concerns in the borough, we're looking at, I believe, an extended, another road project. Is that what we're looking at doing in McAdoo, and also strengthening the police department?
Well, we're trying to provide all the services for the citizens of McAdoo that they deserve, but it has to be made affordable so that everyone can afford to help us in with roads and police department and the services that they need to have this town. As I said, we have to make this town affordable. We need more businesses. We need more stores in McAdoo. We need some kind of a tax base.
Okay, well, congratulations again. We'll wait for another close race here in McAdoo, and we're going to go to, I believe we have Marfa Yannick on the phone. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
We're just playing phone to phone here. I know we're waiting on some county numbers over there. Hello?
Hello?
Marfy? Yes, Janine, hello. Hey, congratulations to you. Thank you. Thank you so much. A nail biter waiting here for the Schuylkill County numbers to come in.
Yes, it has been.
Hi, Murphy. Dave Sosa here. Congratulations. We wish
Thank
you
you,
the
Dave.
best on the school board. I know that this has been a tough race. I know a long race at this point. We just spoke to Brian. We spoke to Doc Childs already as well. And again, bringing it back to you, the idea of the team running was one thing, but now to get together with all 9 members and trying out their differences, getting a lot of more people as citizens, as students involved. Any of your thoughts on that at this point?
Yes, I believe we need to get the whole community involved for what is best for our children. We're in changing times, and I think that being on the school board is going to be a welcome challenge for me, and I'm looking forward to being out there for everybody in our community, especially our children.
Well, it's certainly going to be a change from being at the birthing center by day and on the school board at night, I can tell you that.
And that's for sure. It's going to be busy.
I'll bring the aspirin.
Oh, boy. All right, we're going to...
No, it's my hiking at Community Park.
Okay.
Thank you, Marby, so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, let's turn it over to some county numbers.
I just got unofficial numbers here from my friend in Schuylkill County. These are unofficial, but 97% in, and he says Dems lost, the Democrats lost every race except Lukacs, clerk of courts. Now, these are unofficial. If this is the case, here again, Schuylkill County goes back to the commissioners, Republican commissioners, as well as the slate that they ran. And it was quite impressive because we ran a lot of their San Los shows in Comcast 7 on Pottsville. It was inspiring to hear Brian talking about what he wants to do, okay, with the board members and moving ahead for none of this 5-4 nonsense, if it happens to be that way. And I hope they go that direction. I believe Brian. I hope that that's going to be the direction they go into, you know. Kathy?
I'd say, Sammy, keep the tape. I think everyone in the community would love to see a 9-0 board, so just keep this, and every time there isn't a 9-0 vote, or maybe even an A1, maybe we'll have 1 or 2 dissenters. I mean...
Well, now you're pushing it, okay? You're pushing it, okay? What I'm saying, you're not going to have total agreement, okay? Yeah. But to go in with a solid block saying, you know, all right, here's 5, no matter what I do, Brian says, well, no matter what happens, Murphy, you're responsible, you know, we got you in, you support us. If that's the case, that's wrong, okay? You're not going to have a 9-0. I mean, you'll have but allow people to make those opinions constructively, okay, and go with one agenda. I know Bob Mahalik does that all the time. He votes on the issue. He doesn't vote on a majority thing, okay, and I applaud Bob for that, all right? I applaud those other people who are doing that, and let's not worry about, you know, having the majorities and these agendas. You know, Kathy...
Well, Sam, excuse me. It won't be a 9-0 vote, but you'll be able to tell the very first meeting of reorganization by the committee appointments. That's where you'll see whether the school board is working in unison, because the good committee appointments, if they're evenly distributed, if you have an equal number of people, you know, getting an equal number of committees, then you know it's a fair board. But we'll be able to tell this in about 3 weeks.
Well, I'll tell you something. If it isn't a fair board, I'm telling you right now, we will be on top of them, and we'll be exposing everything possible because we're fed up with this, okay? I got to hand it to the Standing Speaker reporters. They are there, and they are right down the line. There's no agendas with the Standing Speakers. There's no agendas with our news. But we're going to hold these people accountable, and I'm telling you, this nonsense has to stop about these agendas, and do the right thing. If you agree to disagree, that's fabulous. But I don't want to hear this stuff anymore that, you know, well, you're in, we're going to do this, and it's all the click. That stuff has to stop, Kathy.
Well, based on having watched the debate here on SSP-TV and co-sponsored with your media partner, the Standard Speaker, everyone on that panel talked about the need for better cooperation, the need to stop the micromanaging of the day-to-day, to let the superintendent run the school district and not intervene in specific classrooms, don't reach out to teachers, whatever. Everyone also agreed, as they should, that the students and the future and positioning the students in the greater Hazleton area to attract jobs in this year by creating the right kind of environment, the magnet school, and so on and so forth, to give us an advantage down here in the Greater Hazleton Area School District. They all talked about this. They all promised to do that. Now,
keep the tape, right?
Keep the tape.
That's
Keep the tape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure your Inside Scoop's going to have some interesting guests.
I'm sure we will, and I hate to jump around too much, Sam, but can we go back to the county council race for 1 minute?
No, if Rick Morelli's still number one, we're not going to talk. No, I'm only kidding. Go ahead.
And he still is number one.
Oh, Elaine? Yeah, Elaine? Hold that.
Okay.
Let's talk to Elaine. Go ahead.
Speaking of people from Lower Luzerne County winning, Elaine Madden Curry is on the phone with us now. Congratulations, Elaine.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Elaine. I
Thank
know
you.
that this was a long race with 28 people on there. It's not an easy task. You
And
certainly
a very low budget race on my part.
exactly.
And I want to thank the people in the greater Hazleton area for supporting me. And I really kept it grassroots. I didn't spend a lot of money, and I'm just grateful to the people in my hometown for supporting me. And I'm thrilled that I'm going to be part of a new beginning, and I'm hoping that we can sit down and do great things for everybody in the county.
Well, you certainly are at the beginning and the forefront of this new government. You, as I told Mr. Morelli and a few of the others that we've had the chance to talk to tonight, you guys are going to set the watermark. You guys are going to set the standards through which other councils are going to have to be judged. You guys are the ones that are going to pick this council manager, which are, in fact, no easy tasks whatsoever. But we know that you guys will be up to the task. Putting what effort you did for these long time periods into this campaign tells us that we hope that you're going to do the best job in those kind of categories as well.
But I'm going to ask everybody, and this is important, I'm going to ask everybody, I'm going to ask this new council with me to set a high standard so that the public over time will trust us, will think that elected officials are once again people that are there to serve everyone, not to give jobs and contracts to people they know, not to continue in nepotism, but to we're starting a new journey, a new beginning. We can do great things, but we can't do what we've done in the past. It has to be a new day, and I'm excited to be part of a new beginning.
Congratulations, Elaine.
We wish you well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So again,
Mike, you were going to say something before we got Elaine on the phone.
Elaine, well, I was going, of course, to declare Elaine a winner, which we had done before, Sam. But again, we made the point we have 2 people now from the 1st District on the council. But what I found very interesting about the final results in the top 6, we mentioned 2 or 3 times Rick was number 1, but that Urban name appears to be somewhat magical in the county. We have Steve Urban, Jr. and Sr. Finishing in the top 6. So what that means in terms of the 4-year terms, the top 6 people get 4-year terms, the next 5 get 2-year terms. We're going to have 2 Urbans on together. Then I look at 5 and 6, and this is unofficial, but I could tell you Tim McGinley and Eddie Berminski were campaigning together down the Hazleton region. So again, they finished 5 and 6. They're both there for the 4-year term. So who it leaves is Jim Bobeck, who essentially was Elaine Madden Curry's running mate, and Rick Morelli is the other 2 people with the 4-year term. So, you know, with people there for 4 years, they've come from different factions. They've taken different roads to get there.
It's going to be quite, Elaine's talking about, a new beginning, and we're hoping, again, this manager is key. It's going to be key as to who this person is going to be, whether female or male. Do they have a list of qualifications so far? Did they come up with a list of what they're looking?
There was an actual job description posted and advertised, and they're in process and already have candidates queued up and ready to go. The thing is, they really couldn't act because it has to be the new council that selects the new county manager. So the process is kind of on hold. But this is key. It's going to be their first test, and obviously they have to do the right thing.
Well, we hope so. Folks, you're watching Decision Day 2011, brought to you by our media partners, the Standard Speaker and Local News 13. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to Decision Day 2011. We're trying to get some reports now from Kristen on the shooting or what happened. Just shots fired, right? Okay. The results that we had with the judges. What do we have with the judges so far?
It looks like the odd person out is Molly Hanlon Mirabito at this point. She was within the range of 6 for most of the evening until the very latest results came in, and then Dick Hughes jumped up into the 5th position. Lisa Gelb maintaining the 6th, and Molly getting bumped out, the odd person out. So
Swarovski?
I believe, he's number 2, third.
Third, okay. And it was Jennifer
Rogers.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Very impressive. Yeah. Jennifer Rogers. Your reaction to that, Mike?
Once again, Sam, I'd like to say, and I'd like to give them their kudos. Good night for the Republican Party in Luzerne County. Molly Hanlon Mirabito in a county that's approximately 2-1 Democratic, had the Democratic nomination and ended up the odd person out. So once again, I think the Luzerne County electorate showed their independence this evening in terms of switching parties with the vote.
Absolutely, and at the end of the day, it was a race about that because all of the candidates were eminently qualified, very responsible people with proven track records, good lawyers. Jennifer Rogers, I've worked with on a number of projects, a person with a lot of common sense. I would characterize her as that intelligent woman, but at the same time, very down to earth, a lot of common sense. Fred Parentoni, I've known for a very long time, a distinguished career as a magistrate, now ascending to the bench, Court of Common Pleas. Joe Sklarowski, terrific reputation. Mike Vo as well, and worked in the DA's office. With Dick and Dick Hughes, another guy with an impeccable reputation, a lot of respect in the community. Lisa Gelb, very smart woman. She's a good personal friend of mine, I'll say this. But on top of being a good lawyer and a very smart person, has very diligently worked within the Democratic Party for a long time, being very active in the party, but also getting out there and meeting the voters, the constituents. Yeah. It's been a long night and I need another drink of water. But an incredible slate of new Luzerne County judges coming in.
Sam, just one other point I want to make. And I felt so bad for Dick Hughes 2 years ago. To finish, in that 6th position 2 years ago, I don't want to say it would have been criminal had he lost tonight, but once again, Jen Rogers, I think running 2 years ago sort of set the table. I know she worked lower Luzerne County. She spent a lot of time in Hazleton her first run around, and I think that really helped both her and Dick Hughes in this election, losing the first time, making some contacts, people getting to meet them and know them, and now coming back with impressive victories this evening.
Absolutely, and with regard to Dick Hughes, I think he sort of generated a buzz. Even though he lost, he made an excellent impression in that last race, and his momentum just grew from there.
It certainly is a fabulous night as far as exciting news is concerned in all areas. I just wish everyone the best. And we have Jennifer on the phone.
Okay, hold on one second.
Let's go to.
All right, Jen, we're going to put you on live with us. We're still on set here on News 13. Congratulations, reporting that you are the top vote getter for judge in Luzerne County.
For Jennifer Rogers. I am absolutely overwhelmed. I cannot even tell you how this makes me feel so humbled and honored, and I'm just so thankful to the voters for believing in me, and I'm so eager to start this new opportunity.
How important were the votes down here in Lower Luzerne County to your campaign? Because I know you hustled down here.
They're highly important. Every single person is important, and so every single vote is equally important. I am thrilled that I can call so many people of Lower Luzerne County my friends as a result of this campaign, just from coming down and meeting so many wonderful people. And their vote was highly critical to this campaign.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the historical campaign and looking at being maybe the only time that 6 judges will be elected into office for Luzerne County and changing the way we look at politics up there in Luzerne County, what do you hope to do and maybe restore the faith here for voters and taxpayers across Luzerne County?
certainly. Well, certainly along the campaign trail, you develop a talking point, and one of them has certainly been for me that anybody that is elected to this position has a lot of proving to do, and certainly has a lot of trust to restore, a lot of faith to regain. And I understand that it's not going to happen overnight. The problems that we've experienced took decades to make, and are not going to be solved overnight. But I'm certainly up to the task, and I am so eager to create a sense of accountability for our courts, a greater sense of transparency, and to earn the public's trust back of our judiciary.
Attorney Rogers, Dave Sosar here. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Watching your campaign, watching your ads, listening to you speak, that was a tone that resonated time and time again. It's time to move on. It's time to get away from this dark cloud that for so long has been hovering over Luzerne County. We congratulate you, but we know the task ahead is not going to be an easy one.
It certainly is not. And thankfully, with 6 committed quality individuals who I know are committed to excellence, committed to doing the right thing, committed to making our county whole again, I know that we will be there.
Again, once again, congratulations on behalf of the team here in Channel 13, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye-bye.
Again, Jen Rogers coming in as top vote-getter, Luzerne County judge. Turn it back over to you.
Well, let's talk on a little personal note here. Kathy, we've had all the results here as usual. The team is fantastic. So, Kathy, what are you doing with your life now?
What am I doing with my life? Well, I'm having more fun tonight than Herman Cain is. I'll tell you that right now. But that's a story for another time.
Yes.
But for about 2.5 years, I heard Janine laughing over there. For about the past 2.5 years, I've been freelancing in New York City for the CBS radio network. I work primarily on 1010 WINS, which is the highest rated all-news radio station in the country. I'm headed back there in about a week to do a couple of days stint. And it's interesting because I have a lot of fun in the excitement of New York City, and then I come back here to chill out a little bit and to be part of things like this, and I really enjoy that.
Do you miss the broadcast part of it?
Well, I'm on radio, so I'm still broadcasting and
I mean TV, but I'm sorry.
Absolutely. This was so much fun tonight, and this is, quite honestly, it's a very prestigious gig that I have now in New York, but my heart still lies in television. So we'll see what happens.
Well, you bring a lot of experience, to whatever position you go to. Looking at what you've done when you were on local broadcast, always admired what you did and how you presented yourself, and the fact that you were always fair, and you got the story and presented it well, and that's why you're an award-winning journalist. And so we're honored to have you on our set tonight.
This has been my pleasure.
Well, can I ask Kathy a question? If you missed the TV part of it, would you mind coming back to host the Sam Lassand show in the future? Then?
I may have to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
we're
love
doing a Sam Lassand show now.
Can Rick still host the Inside Scoop now that he's on council?
Yeah, that's true. Looking at local television, and if you Google local television, they're going to tell you that's where it's at in local television, news and local programming. People want to know what's going on in their backyard. That's hence why the Standard Speaker and Citizen Voice has been so successful, because they're zeroing in on the local part of it. Looking at that and looking at local television and where we're growing, your thoughts about that?
Well, you're absolutely right. Media has become so diffused. You've seen the convergence of television with online, and even now revolution via social media in this day and age. It's become diffused. I think you're going to see a lot of things changing with print and online and even traditional television networks. And you talk to people. People don't, when we were growing up, when we were kids, at 6:30, at 6 o'clock at night or 6:30, you sat down and watched your local newscast, you watched your network news. Now we've got online access to news 24 hours a day. We've got cable shows on the networks all over the place. Local news is several times a day and always live online with constant updates, and the same thing for newspapers. The key to viability, though, is not looking bigger to cover the globe, but looking at your backyard and giving it the best coverage to the issues like we're done tonight regarding Lower Luzerne County with the school board and with the Hazleton City Council and the different council races. Focusing on that and getting the message about what's happening in your backyard, that niche is what's going to keep places like SSP TV, the Standard Speaker, viable as the media changes.
Looking at media bias, okay, in the last couple of elections, you know, and I'm not becoming political here. I don't want Dave or Mike to get excited here. But you know, we had media bias, okay, with the presidential elections, and when that happened, okay, you saw the numbers speak for itself. You have Fox News, okay, it was kicking numbers all the time. You have the other areas with bias, and I think that puts a little taint on whether it was a Democrat, Republican.
I think, and I think we're going to go back to the phones in a minute. But
who do you have? Okay.
But I think the issue is that the American viewer has become so bombarded with choices out there. And you have networks like Fox News, which is very conservative, and you've got MSNBC, which is much more liberal, presenting commentary. And most people think this is the news. Mm-hmm. So through this sort of diffusion, you have seen, you know, point of view filter into the actual news where you know, bias was not allowed. You know, when I first took my first journalism course, they said, here's what you do. You know your biases, and then when you go to cover a story, you throw them out the window and make sure that they don't come through, and be as fair and balanced as you can. The line between editorial and straight news has been so blurred in the past 7 to 10 years that it's tough, and now I think American audiences are railing against it.
They are, and as a result, the major networks are losing ratings all the time, okay, because they're not trusting the people who are reporting them because of, and here again, not a Republican or a Democrat thing. If it was reversed either way, I don't think it's fair. These are some of the things, you know, that you're seeing in New York, et cetera. But, you know, people like you who are always fair and balanced, whether you like the person, we have a lot of people who are friends in politics. And it's very difficult to report the negative things that they do because then it becomes personal. Do we have anyone on the phone?
We have about 5 minutes, so we're out there. And we have Dick Hughes on the phone. Congratulations to you, Dick, on your win this evening for Luzerne County Judge.
Thank you so much.
Attorney Hughes, Dave Sosar here. Congratulations. We spoke on Inside Scoop probably back in the summertime. I commented on you that you never stopped your campaign. You always let people know that you were out there, that you were concerned, and that you were interested in this judgeship, and it proved successful tonight. We want to congratulate you, and we know that you know that cloud is being lifted off of Luzerne County, and we wish you well as you take this seat.
Well, thank you. I mean, we're obviously so excited, and I want to thank everyone in Lower Luzerne County for coming out so strong. You know, it was a nail-biter here, and the first district came through so strongly for us. We're thrilled. I mean, you're exactly right. Good things are happening in Luzerne County. I always said this was not a race about one person against another. It's about putting 6 qualified people on the bench, and we're excited. We're going to make change on that bench, and we're going to make sure that everybody that comes in to Luzerne County courts know they have a level playing field.
All right, Dick, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we have 4 minutes left till we're off the air. Congratulations to you. We want to get to some more numbers. We'll talk to you tomorrow on News 13.
Will do. Bye now.
Okay, we have some more numbers coming in.
Say my thanks right now for the people who have been working here tonight. My wife, Debbie, Annie, Neil, Radino, Janine, of course, Sam Jr., Tim, Novotny, Andy, Fisher, Mike, Will, Kristen Bazinski, Christina, Nikki, Kreis, Andrew Minnick, Bill Berry, Kerry Guerra, Gary Perna, Service Electric Cablevision, folks, nothing would happen without them. We have to say thank you. Our media partners, the Standard Speaker, Dave, Dr. Dave Sosar, Professor Mike DeCosmo, Rick, who is on the way at work. And of course, we're so happy to have Kathy Bazinski here tonight, honoring our staff, making us all look good tonight, Kathy. Especially Mike DeCosmo, you're making us all look good. I want to make sure we get our thanks in.
We may need our own show over here. I don't know. We work well together, don't we?
Kathy and Bill? Anyway, we wish congratulations to everyone. We got about 4 minutes. We heard from Schuylkill County. It looks like all the Democrats lost except Lukacs, according to my source. A little tight race with the coroner race, but it looks like it'll be a Republican sweep, which is interesting for Schuylkill County. The school board members, we had the results, and once again, we want to thank everyone who participated. And this is only a part of what goes on in local news. It's amazing, isn't it, Kathy?
It is amazing. But I've always said that election night is the Christmas Eve for broadcasters, and it certainly was tonight. And we got a lot of surprises.
Could have fooled me this morning when I came in.
I'm telling you, it's been an incredible evening, incredible day for Luzerne County. As Dick Hughes said. Good things are in the air now. Change is coming. They may have been some surprising changes, but we're in process at last.
Well, now what we have to do is we have to give support to all these people who won and say, look, we wish you the best. Let's do whatever we can to promote the goodwill, as long as the intentions are good, and help the community as best we can. Mike, any departing words here?
Absolutely, Sam. I think you just said it best. I mean, the people, we had some surprises tonight. I think especially in the DA race, I thought it was going to be close. I still thought Jackie Musto was going to pull it out, but now that Stephanie has been elected, obviously that's such an important position in this county. Everyone has to get behind her, rally behind her, wish her the best.
Knowing Jackie, I think she will work with her during the transition.
No question.
And she's a professional person, and hopefully Stephanie, as she said, and we'll have Stephanie on a number of our shows, she will surround herself with those people. She's smart enough to see that. We wish her the best. Dave, any closing thoughts on your part, being that you're way over there in the other set?
Surprising evening. The voters have spoken, and you know what? It was a great evening. I wish all of the people a lot of success. One of the things, you know what, small voter turnout, but I think the voters, as close as these races were, are going to hold these people's feet to the fire. They have expectations, and you know what, I do personally think that the voters are beginning to speak out like they never have before.
And Janine, I want to thank you for setting this entire thing up tonight. You did a great job, seriously.
Oh my goodness.
She
That was
she
live
put
on
this
TV.
entire
Did
thing,
you hear
work with
that?
the staff, your new staff,
Thank you.
working this, was a good
Team
opportunity.
effort, no I in team, but again, some nail biters tonight,
Yeah.
and again, we keep emphasizing get out of your house, get off the couch and vote, because again, you saw some upsets tonight, some close races, and this was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Tune in to News 13 tomorrow, live at 5. Read the Standard Speaker tomorrow for all of the in-depth looks at all the races. Thank you to our partners, the Standard Speaker, and Carrie Guerra, who's with us tonight.
I want to thank also our news department. I can see why 83% of you prefer our local news over the other competition. And we say that out of respect. The news department is doing a fabulous job, as well as the production department. But it could not happen if these people, as you said, getting out there working, and kudos to all of the people in the news department, as well as the production department. Sam Jr., thanks as usual. Tim, thanks as usual for doing it. Once again, thank you folks for tuning us in. And tomorrow you'll read about it in the Standard Speaker, and we'll have all of this recap for you on Local News 13. Good night, and thank you for joining us.